The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is July the 3rd, 2025. And if you want to participate in the show, all you have to do is call the number at 1-717-908-1834, and I will give you I will open your mic, get you on the line here, and allow you to say whatever it is you want to say, like I always do. And just ask that you try to not, allow, I want you to allow everybody to speak. And we can continue like that. I'm just checking my audio, make sure I can hear myself over the YouTubes. And I don't know, the strangest thing just happened to me. It's weird. I've been feeling fine all day. And then literally 2 minutes before I turned this thing on, I started coughing and my throat started hurting and it's itching. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I had to go make me some lemon ginger tea with some honey in it. See if that'll knock whatever this is out. But anyway, it ain't gonna stop the dang on show. If you guys want to call in, please call into the number and join the conversation. I assume everybody who's living in America see this freak show that we have going on in our government. And I cannot explain it. I don't understand it. But no, I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say I don't understand. I understand it fully. I understand it completely. I understand exactly what's going on. The problem is that it's something that I'm not used to. And I don't think the country is used to what we're seeing right now. And that's in politics. In other news, I guess the Diddy verdict is in, and he didn't get charged like many people thought he was getting charged. Like I thought he was going to get charged. I thought they were going to throw the book at him, but he didn't. And I don't know what else is going on because I ain't paying attention. At this point in time in my life, I told you guys I try to pull myself from social media. And what's happening, Frodo? And I don't really pay attention on what's going on social media. But I did get a phone call today, and Howard shared some weird information. Howard shared some weird information with me because Howard is if he can deny it all he want to, but that motherfucker loves social media. He lives, breathes, and eat social media the same way he did back in 2008 or 2009. It's the same thing. They're going just as hard on social media, but he shared he shared some weird stuff with me. Now I ain't gonna lie, and
Not a lot
I'll
of people know about
I'll
this
I'll
brand, but
touch
it's
on
one.
it because it's weird, but at the same time it's entertaining. So I'll talk about it for a little while before I get into my politics. Um, it's one of these things to where social media has people food. Social
This is
media
the
has
quickest
people
way to
food,
clear out stuck poop.
and whenever these people get on social media
Stuck.
Stop!
in the
Are you trying
blog
to
talks
talk?
and the
All the time. And I'm
debates
telling you, it's making me feel
and
some
all of
type of
that,
way because
they different people, and that's why I never pardon me while I sip my tea because I really want to highlight this topic here if I can get to the place. Howard called me today and he said, Tyrone, Solar Man? I said, yeah. He said Solar Man was caught on video sitting on the subway or a bus or something. And pardon my English, but he was sitting on the bus playing with himself or masturbating in public. And they caught it on video. I said, you lying. Now I don't know why the first thing out of my mouth was, where's the video at? That's the first thing out of my mouth. Where's the video at? You lying. And he shared this video with me, and it's Solar Man. Y'all remember Solar Man and Oh God, and when they came over here doing the debate competitions and all that kind of bullshit. And then that guy. So I don't know why I'm starting this show off with this, but it is interesting to watch all these people fall from grace on social media. So there's the lady's channel right there, and she was discussing it, right? If you're looking at YouTube, it'll show on YouTube. But what you see there is Solo Man sitting in, I don't know what it is, a bus or a hallway or something. And there's a little girl. She says she's a teenager. If you listen to the audio, and he starts, it ain't gonna show you nothing. It's gonna be blurred out. But she starts, I guess recording this guy sitting across from her, and he starts, well, she gonna play the video here, and he starts manipulating his manly parts in front of that little girl live on, you just out in the public. And let me see. I know y'all like, Tyron, you weird. I ain't weird. It's just that these are one of these guys that used to come over here all the time and talk down about people, and they had. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, here you go. And that's her channel. I don't know her name. I don't know this lady from Adam. But here's the video. Whenever she plays it. So he's sitting across from a teenager. That's him sitting there, and then you'll see it'll cover it up whenever the whenever he take his little wanker out. I'm sorry, y'all, but see how they covered it up. They covered it up, and he peeping and manipulating himself in front of a child. and that's Solar Man. That is him. He put on some weight now. But that is crazy to me. So I thought I'd start out with that little. I thought it was funny how people on social media. I mean, that's the problem with social media is that a lot of these folks they live in this persona on social media, and whenever they are in real life, they're just not who they claim to be on social media. You can look at hell, you can look at all of Sarnetta TV. You can look at all of those people over there. You can look at the Tariq Nashis and the Yvette Carnells and Boyce Watkins and the Umar Johnsons and all of these people that put on these personas on social media. They full of shit. Every damn one of them. And then people come over here and argue with me about what somebody said. The dude that passed away. I can't think of his name. Kevin something. Kevin Samuels. All of these people. This is why I don't. I don't want to be social media popular like that. I don't want to be, and that's part of the reason that y'all here seen me like pull away because I don't want nobody to look at me like that because I'm not perfect. I got problems myself, but not Solar Man type problems. But I got issues in my own personal life that I don't want nobody in my damn business. So, but I do this thing on Thursday because I know a lot of people um like coming on here talking and having the back and forth. That's why I still keep this going. But I don't want to be that social media famous type person because it's just not right. And I don't know what the hell wrong with Solar Man, but him sitting on a bus or in public and manipulating himself the way he did on this video, I don't. There's something wrong with this brother. There's something dead wrong with this brother for this for him to be sitting in public and the little girl is recording him while he's sitting there manipulating himself in public. You see how he got one leg pulled up? And then he peeping around the corner there looking at somebody in public. That's Solar Man. What in the fuck is wrong with Solar Man? Oh my goodness. And then he gets embarrassed because the little girl actually asks him, "You you just gonna do that in public?" And then that's when he gets embarrassed and walks out of the train. And then she starts yelling, "You a pedophile! You a pedophile!" And he gets off of the train or whatever that is that he on. And th- th- this is people that's got given credit on social media for being a great debater and all this kind of bullshit. That's why I don't fuck with these people. I don't want nobody to tie me in with any of this crap. These people are sick in the head. You can't trust none of these people, none of them. And I mean, he might as well have been in that damn Diddy trial himself, sitting in public doing that disgraceful bullshit right there. That is fucking disgusting. I don't. That's why I have to cut them off. I try to let people go on their own ways without, too much controversy. But people are crazy on social media. But anyway, like I said, I thought that was interesting. But I don't know what that she hell Howard. I mean, Howard's all into social media. He keep up with every damn thing. He wants to pretend like he don't, you know. But he'll call me and tell me, "Did you see such and such?" No, nigga, I didn't see it. What's going on? But I just thought that this was funny. But at the same time, in all seriousness, you don't know who the fuck's out here on this damn YouTube and how sick in the head they are. This is why you probably shouldn't try to associate yourself with these people closely. You don't know who the hell you're dealing with. You could be dealing with a fucking psychopathic lunatic. You know, These people are. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I do is sit on this side of this microphone and I run my mouth on Thursdays. And I try not to. Yeah, I try not to get in nobody's business. But if it's out there, it's out there. And Solar Man, damn it, that shit right there is out there. He it was a little girl. I wish I can get the audio for you. What this little girl is saying. Let me see if y'all can hear this.
What if there was a way to know if a stock will be bullish or bearish the day before? The truth is that.
So you don't care? You don't care? You don't care? You don't care? So you won't play down?
Now he
Play
getting
down?
up.
You don't care? How I feel, my feelings, like empathy at all? You don't give a fuck? You don't care at all? You stroking your dick in front of a 17-year-old. You know that, right? You know that, right? You're a child predator. You know that, right? And I got you on video doing that shit. You laughing like a fucking weirdo.
Now
Like
he
a
gets
fucking
up to
weirdo.
say.
Yo, he strokes his dick to kids. He strokes his dick to kids.
Damn.
Fucking weirdo.
All right. Well, you heard that girl say. Well, I don't know if y'all heard it on the conference here, but the little girl said, "You don't care. You don't care. You know you jerking your D in front of a 17-year-old, right?" And then she started screaming out, "Weirdo, weirdo!" And she's absolutely right. And she's brave, to be honest with you, for publicly exposing this disgusting idiot on camera. So I hope that somebody this man need to be locked up for something. I mean, this is disgusting. This is disgusting. What's up, Joshua?
What's up? Well, Tyrone, it takes all types of people. You know what I mean? So, I'm trying to remember who Solomon was, because I remember the name.
You remember he used to come over here with "Oh God," when they used to have the debates. He was a Hebrew Israelite, I believe. No, he wasn't no Hebrew.
Right.
Yeah, I think he was a Hebrew Israelite.
Oh God, I guess he used to like Renee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's coming to me. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, let me start like this. I mean, this is just my perception on the stuff. People are not perfect. I wouldn't say that within this on the surface, but what he did, it's like, bro, go home and do that, bro. Come on. If that's your issue, if you have an issue like that, you go home in your bedroom and do something like that, bro. Don't do that in front of a 17-year-old girl. That's the second part. The third part is, like I always try to say, and this is what I always try to practice within my own life. Get in the habit of practicing how to master your urges. Period. Whether it's an eating urge, a sexual urge, or whatever it might. Get in the habit of trying to master that, or check it. So that shit would get you in trouble. We saw what happened to the other dude, Polite. We saw what happened with him. You see, because they don't have discipline and cannot check their sexual urges. Polite was just, I think he just thought he was just being slick. That's my personal opinion about him. He was just being slick. Okay, he thought he could be slick. You see, but I mean, it's a wonder that dude didn't get arrested. I mean, they're probably looking for him. The police probably looking for him, because don't think that they haven't gotten a hold of this video. You see,
that little girl. I mean, I hope she did turn it in, man, because I mean, you couldn't hear it on here, could you?
No, I couldn't hear anything. No. I couldn't hear anything.
She was calling him out in public, man. So hopefully she did. She turned it in to the cops and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So that's some sick shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just shaking my head right now, going, bro, really, bro? You could, I mean, you can't go home and do something like that in the privacy of your own home or bedroom, bro. I mean, really?
Well, it's beyond that. It's beyond that. What
Yeah.
he do in private and stuff because
That's why, that's why I'm saying he should be arrested because he, of all the talking he did, I mean, if I can remember the talking he was doing, it's like, bro, I mean, you would have to be able to control that urge. But that urge is a sick urge. He has a very sick urge.
mm-hmm.
And that's dangerous because that can lead into something else that's even more sinister and diabolical.
Well, they ain't no see somebody like that. They ain't no telling what they have already done.
Right.
Because me just sitting here thinking about it, you had to have worked yourself up to have the courage to do that in public. So in order for you to be at that stage, what the hell did you do to get to that stage? You see what I'm saying? Who you done peeped on? Who you done snuck around and seen? There's a whole trajectory there because you just don't one day in public or whap out your Johnson and start. You don't do that. You got to start from somewhere. So that guy is sick in the head, man. He's at a point now to where he's doing it in public. Ain't no telling how far to go,
Yeah. I mean, there's a guy right here in my city that was doing that in public, man. I mean, he would just do it right in public.
Mm-hmm.
And one time he did it, and these dudes, they chased him. And because the dudes got little daughters around, little kids around, and they said, dude, they chased him. And eventually the cops caught him. They caught him twice. And I asked the police officer, I said, so what do y'all do with a guy like that? He said, I said, y'all can't hold him. He said, no, we can't hold him. I said, really? I said, that's going to lead to something else eventually. He said, yeah. He said he would have to do something. I said, well, isn't exposing yourself against the law? He said, yes, but it's not. I think how the police said, it's not in the sense where it's considered violent. I said, really? Now, I started to tell that damn cop, like, y'all shoot motherfuckers just on routine traffic stops. You know what I mean? Tell y'all can't put a dude behind bars that's out in public doing that. Because he kept doing it. Every time that they let him back out, he kept doing it.
He kept doing
like
it?
I said. Yeah.
Jesus.
He kept doing it. And they could not keep him, they put him in jail for like 30 to 60 days, maybe 2 or 3 months, and let him back out. I said, that's insane. I said, now, if I go in that Walgreens and steal a bottle of water or something, then I get more time than him. In some cases, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's insane. Yeah, man. So, but this dude, man, he it's no excuse for him. He has some issues. Like I said, if somebody better do something about him because that's dangerous and that can lead into other stuff.
Yeah, but the problem is, I mean, part of the problem is like people like that can get on social media, right? And then they can become popular. And then they got people listening to him. They got people listening to him and followers and all this kind of bullshit. And that's the problem with social media is that you don't know who is on the other side of that damn microphone.
Right, yeah.
And that's why I pushed away a long time ago with these people being full of shit.
Yeah. And that's a good point. I've always said that. I said, social media have allowed anybody can get on here and talk and sound good. Now that's the truth.
Yeah.
Anybody can go in here and sound good. You know what I'm saying? And some of the shit I hear, I would say 60% of it I don't agree with anyway. Okay? But who am I? I don't have a YouTube channel or none of that stuff. And I don't, I don't plan on doing that because I think we got too many people out here doing talking, just talking. But this dude needs to be. So I guarantee you, so far, I guess that they're probably looking for him. I guarantee somebody's looking for him. That they're looking for him. You know, especially depends on where he did that. He was in what state he was in. Was it New York or Chicago? What was Solomon was from Chicago, wasn't he?
No, I don't know where he's from. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, but they're probably looking for him. But like I said, it's shame, man.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, guys. So I mean, you just got to be careful with whoever you're listening to on social media. That's why I pushed back a long time ago, because I see something else besides the entertainer when people are just like with Charlemagne the God. I mean, I don't know how that guy is still so popular, and he doped up that little girl and date raped that child. And all.
Yeah.
You can't trust these folks, man.
Right.
And then the problem with me is that they convince a lot of people to follow them. And it's dangerous because Derek Richardson said he from Philly. Oh yeah, Poverty Supreme. He said Poverty Supreme bought Soleimani and TRS when the debates was on. The white man the devil? That was the debate. Jesus Christ, you got a memory like an elephant, man. You remember the whole damn detail. That's all right. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, you can't trust these folks, man. You can't trust them no farther than you can fucking throw them, man. And one by one, they fucking drop. Sooner or later, they fucking drop. Even though, you know, and you got some very charismatic, intelligent sounding people that be on social media, man. Like Umar Johnson. I give that man credit all day for being smart, charismatic. He can have an intelligent conversation. He's very knowledgeable. I give that man credit all day because that ain't me. I'm a dumbass country boy. I'm not educated like that. But at the same time, he's dangerous because he's leading people down the damn road, taking their damn money, lying to them, and then you know, fucking up the damn community. And that's the bottom line is the impact that you're having on the black community. And they're all having negative impacts on the black community. Every damn one of them. I don't give a shit who's out there right now. Every one of them having negative impacts on the black community. Now, there was this one guy that I seen on social media. His name is Afro Think Tank. And I don't know if y'all ever watch his videos, but I got my eye out on him. But so far, that guy, you know, he seems all right. I don't listen to a lot of videos, but he's all right.
But yeah, man. So, did you ever check that video tape I sent you?
Oh, which one?
With Attorney Corbin. Remember to talk about the we were discussing
the deportation.
Yeah, the deportation.
Well, I didn't watch the video, but I've been seeing news about what Donald Trump is doing. So when I said that it can't happen, I'm right legally, but the way
I agree with you.
Yeah. The way Donald Trump is doing it, I can see how, you know, black people can get caught up in this deportation.
Right.
So, and then with them messing with the 14th Amendment, the way they did, it's kind of weird. We do need to be watching out, man.
Right, and that's what that's what Corbin was saying. You know, that's what Attorney Corbin, he was saying it's unlawful what he's doing, but the way they got it, the way Scalia framed it, the way his Donald Trump, I guess that's his attorney, not attorney. What is that? What they call
the
that?
Attorney General Pam Bondi? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, something. Yeah, Attorney General. Whatever she did, she worded it in such a way where it takes away states' rights to fight against it. That's what he was. That's the gist of what he's saying. And that's what I was trying to explain one night on here. Yes, unlawfully, he's wrong. Unlawfully, the Attorney General was wrong. Unlawfully, the judge was wrong. But the way they wrote it and the way it was packaged, that's why it was able to get past that step, and Judge Scalia signed off on it. So the question that he asked, can black people be deported? And he was saying, yes, they can. Unlawfully, they can be deported, and it's nothing they can, and he said the way they got it, it used to be a time where if you were deported unlawfully, you can go, according to the state, and you can go fight it. And they would have to bring you back. But they blocked the junction on it, the injunction, they blocked it where you can't fight it. So they just come get you locked and deport you. Now, hopefully nobody gets wrapped up in that crap, but you just don't know. So like you said, it's something to keep your eye open about. It's not something to say, whoa, okay.
Yeah, because, me included, a lot of black people were saying, I ain't worried about this deportation thing because I'm a citizen, and you kind of felt kind of comfort in saying that. But the way that he's doing it now, you can't even have that comfort, because if Donald Trump is rounding up people and then he's sending them out of the damn country, your ass is gone. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. There ain't shit you can do about it. No. And they don't care about breaking the damn law. So if he's scooping up people and your black ass happen to get scooped up, that's it. You gone.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, and that's what I was explaining, or attempting to, and that's what I said. Corbin was explaining it as a lawyer. He kind of went into detail a little bit. I would hope that he would do another one and go to more into the lawful side of it, the unlawful and the lawful side of it, and a little more in depth to kind of show where he was at. But I guess they
didn't touch the 14th Amendment. What happens what happens is federal judges do these things called injunctions, right? So if the president does something and it's illegal, the federal judges can put an injunction on it nationwide and stop whatever action that is. That's the same thing that happened when Joe Biden was trying to get these student loans forgiven. Yeah. So whenever he got the student loans forgiven, there was a federal judge that put a nationwide injunction saying that nobody ain't getting their damn student loan forgiven. So the Republicans blocked Joe Biden from doing that. Now they took that power away from the judges to perform these injunctions, so Donald Trump can go ahead and deport people.
Right, exactly, and that's what Corbin. That was the gist of what he was saying. He wasn't trying to be technical. He used big words that some of us wouldn't understand. He was pointing point blank and wrong. This is what he has the power to do now, point blank. So I'm glad that you got it, and I'm glad that I've come to more understand it more. The more I read or I hear things, I'm understanding more about that. Because when Corbin was talking about the injunctions, I was like, oh, I said that's how he's able to do it. I said, oh, they took away the injunction. Yeah, that's why he can do it.
Because the federal judges had stopped him from deporting people, and then when the Supreme Court took away the power of the federal judges. Now, that ain't against the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment still, it's just kind of like bypassing the 14th Amendment. Really.
Right, exactly.
And then in each state, if they want to fight for, if each state attorney general want to fight to have those people not deported, then they got to go through court, and most likely they'll win. But it's just the hassle of everybody got to go to court not to get deported. That ain't the way America's supposed to work.
Right, and then again, it has to be. What makes it harder if you don't know what Tyrone Thompson went when he was deported, and you don't know what I went when I got deported, because we can't get together and do a class action. We can't. So it would have to be one by one, what makes it even more difficult.
Well, I mean, it's happening now. These people that Donald Trump deported, even though they was migrants or I don't know or whatever, those people weren't supposed to get deported. So it's hard for those
Mm-hmm.
folks' families to even know where these people are. So if an American citizen get deported, it's gonna be the same situation. You ain't gonna know where that person is. You ain't gonna know where they sent them to, or anything like that. But Miss Elisa,
Right.
welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, sis?
Hi, Tyrone,
What's happening?
Joshua. How y'all doing?
All right.
Okay.
Nothing much. I just called in a little earlier because I had to get off a little earlier.
Okay.
This evening, I got to go out of town tomorrow. I'm glad more and more people are talking about the deportation thing because deporting Black Americans. Can we be deported? And yes, we can. And that's the thing, because yes, what he's doing, and that's why it was funny a little bit in the beginning when people was doing the F was it FAFO,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the Latinos. But was
Mm-hmm.
like y'all at some point you're gonna have to stop just laughing because yes, after the Supreme Court put down their ruling, yes, what Donald Trump is doing, they cannot touch the 14th Amendment. They can't do that. But what they did was, if they round up 50, this is simple, 50 black people at a cookout, and they deport them. They says noise ordinance. So they go in and they take all these 50 black people in. Okay, and one family find out, and they get with the ACLU and the different groups who are uh handling these cases and stuff, and they go into court, they argue your case.
Right.
They can get you brought back, but the other
Right.
49, somewhat other people have to argue their case. Like they got rid of the injunction, like sweeping injunctions across. Like the federal judge could say, no, that's wrong, and do a sweeping covering everybody. You see what I'm saying? But they took that away from them. So that's how it works. So the other 49 people that still, who knows where, somebody has got to do something on their behalf.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
you still can do a class action. Like with all of these people, get them all up, put them all in a class action. But people have to ask themselves, how long would a class action lawsuit take? You're liable to be gone for a
4
month and
years.
a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you still can do that. But that's the monkey wrench that they threw in there. So if they just round up black people, and let's just say 5 people, their family get together, get with some lawyers, and they stand before a judge and this and that, yeah, they can get you back. But the other 45, if nobody is doing anything on their behalf, they stuck in limbo. They just there. They stuck wherever it is that they sent them. So, but they have these think tanks and these judges and lawyers and things. They're trying to find, they think they found a way around that. So we have to see. Because one judge was able to do an injunction, they said, I take it to the Supreme Court, where it's a group of people. I think it's something to do with the Haitians. It's a group. And that's exactly, and what is that? Was it Lita? Who's the one? Yeah. Was like, okay, so bring it to, and you all can able to get these class actions or whatever, bring it before our court. So now you have to put your money where your mouth is. It's a whole group, and they found a way around it. So we have to, I'm watching that to see how that goes, because they will find a way around this. It's just ridiculous. So they're trying that, so to stay for these people. And they found a way when they went to court to order a stay, because they were able to bring them all in, even though it wasn't each individual person as class action. So that's what they said. That's what the judges who ruled on it, that's what they said to do. So that's what they do. That's what they did. So they're finding a way. They've been working on this for a while now. So it's not like it's just up in the air. They've been working on this for a while, just in case the Supreme Court had did this. So we just have to see. But yes, we can be deported and hung up in limbo forever. If nobody is not doing anything on your behalf, you could be hung up forever. So yes, we can be deported. So I think the FAFO lasting at the Latinos need to come to an end. That it was fun in the beginning because everybody was upset with them, but it's time to stop laughing because they can deport our asses too. It's illegal. And people still say it's illegal. Yes, it's illegal, but you all really need. This is the thing: is foundational Black Americans. What do you call them? What's that acronym? Foundational FBA. And they still going around listening to Tariq Nasheed and them fools. Well, it's illegal. Yes, it's illegal. It's illegal what they're doing to the immigrants. Yes, it's illegal. But y'all need to get into what the Supreme Court did. Yes, it is illegal. Yeah. But you need to find out what they granted him to be able to do. So he could swipe up a whole 100 Black people. If all of them ain't got nobody filing nothing on their behalf, just them, just that one person, you screwed. So y'all need to stop that. It's time to stop listening to these. They like to say everybody else is a, what's the word, agent. Everybody, that's what these people are. And you're listening to them. They got you going down the wrong path with the wrong thing. And our community, we got to leave these people alone because they don't mean you any good. They're probably collecting checks and stuff from that side. They're doing anything for money.
Yeah, and Lisa, to cut out of what you said, the Liz, what he did, one reason why they did it, because the state judges was holding up Donald Trump. So they went to and that's what they did. They said, well, you're holding up the president. Well, yeah, if he's doing things that's illegal, we should hold him up. Duh. But Liz, who I think is on the payroll for Donald Trump, to pass this was like, you idiot. You actually going to let them go through with this? Really? So, but then he did it.
Well, I mean, all of this is part of Project 2025. Everything that we witnessing, even though they denied it, even though Sarge and them came on here and pretended like it didn't exist. This is what we're watching. Even with this budget that they just passed, them taking away Medicaid, the death bill, them giving them the tax cuts to the top 1%, them just basically robbing America and giving it to the richest people. All of that's part of Project 2025.
Yes, it is. It is. Trump is not smart enough to do things like that. All of this is not all of it, but the majority of it is part of Project 2025. And there's so much in that bill that it's just god awful for the American people, for the country. Country's doomed, and it's not just the Medicaid cuts and SNAP benefits. That is devastating enough. We're gonna have a lot of deaths. They said 50,000 Americans are going to die each year because of this. And a lot of the rural areas and things like that, the healthcare, that's going to affect not just people who are on Medicaid, but that's going to affect everybody because a lot of the hospitals, senior citizen homes and things like that, it is just god awful. And it's not just that part in it. It's the things that's going to hurt the veterans that's in that bill. They're getting rid of all of the oversight and all that kind of stuff that's in the bill. So if, let's just say, I make up a make-believe milk company, Milky Cow Milk, if they use certain things in their things that's cheaper but was not approved by the FDA, and a bunch of people get sick and die or don't die and become afflicted later, there's nothing you can do against them. because it's all about helping the companies to say big business to get these tax cuts and tax breaks. So they're going to start doing it's so much in this bill that in that death bill that it's so god awful for the United States. Some things in there that you're giving Trump some extra powers. And so it's just god awful. And every Republican knew, and there was a rumor going around that they had hidden in the bill that he can cancel the midterms. That's not true. That's not in there. And I think a lot of them know when the midterms next year that a lot of them not coming back. A lot of the Republicans who are up for re-election during the midterms, they're not coming back. But I also will say, I think they're terrified of this man. And they're terrified for themselves and for their family. That's why Senator, Tom Tillis said he's not even going to run for re-election. He's not. He's not even going to run for re-election because he ain't going to be elected anyway. So he's not going to bother to run. And like he was saying, I'm free from all of this when he was talking about, and I can't stand him or his politics, but when he was saying that I'm free from under this, the pressure, we don't know the threats and things that's been levied against these people and their families, and you can tell they're scared. So they're going to just, and some of them just don't give a damn, like the senator from your state, Lindsey Graham. He goes whichever way the wind blows.
Uh-huh.
So, but a lot of them with the threats and the intimidation, they're thinking about themselves, they're thinking about their families. Some of them just thinking about their political career. They're not going to be coming back anyway. And people are there going to vote them back in anyway. And all this money to the deficit. You think, Tyrone, you be talking about how high the rents are in not just Columbia, in South Carolina. I was surprised to hear that it was bad there too, because you wouldn't want to live. The further north you go, it's awful, and they're adding these trillions on to deficit. You think it's bad now. Everybody, your grandchildren and all these people, they're not going to be able to pay that back. They ain't got no future. They have no future. But all that money added on to the debt. And if the United States can borrow because the dollar is really suffering worldwide right now, if they can even borrow money to keep things going, it's just, we knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. But it's awful. This country is doomed, and they don't even care. They don't care. Some do, some are scared, but a lot of them, they just don't MAGA Mike Johnson.
Well, they too dumb. They too dumb to care. Just like Sarge,
they just don't care.
Sarge and Meta Judah in the chat room cheering Trump on, knowing good and goddamn well that they paying high prices also. Sarge is at that age to where his benefits is going to get affected, but they just stupid. This is what I was saying. Like they dumb. They
just dumb and stupid. And one of the reasons they're doing this with all these tariffs and things like that, the United States is in a decline. We've been in a decline. We're not the top dog anymore on this planet. We're not. That goes to China. That goes to China. And they're doing everything that they can to get us out this fix that we got ourselves in with this unchecked capitalism. It's been too unchecked with this capitalism. So, and I'm not against capitalism. I think people, if you could do what you need to do,
I'm
you can
against
make.
it.
I'm not. If you can make, well, I'm against it being regulated. So one person, Bezos, can't get the monopoly on everything and send all of the brick and mortar and other stores out of business. I'm against them getting monopolies on everything. Get rich, doesn't matter. Pay your fair share taxes, pay your fair share, and you still rich. But I mean, we're not top dog anymore. And I keep hearing, Tyrone, I sent you a link to one particular channel, and a lot more people are talking about it. We are a dying empire. It is what it is, and people have been talking about this for years. For years, the United States is a dying. All empires, everybody who talks dog dies at some point, but they're making matters worse with the way that they're doing. And like they use that same old thing from the Dixiecrats back in the day, give people a finger to point at. And anybody who's talking about, yay, Trump, you're black, well, no, anybody, unless you're not rich, if you're not okay, rich people are going to be hurt. But if you're not mega rich and billionaires, it's going to catch your ass. That's just what it is. Regular people who was considered just regular rich, but you have to be mega millionaires and billionaires. I mean, big, and not just no little $10 million or $15 million. You got to be real type millionaires, a couple of hundred in, and billionaires for it not to affect you. It's going to affect everybody. And they allowing the companies to do whatever they want to do, to higher prices and things like that, or to charge whatever they want, any type of substandard products. But my thing is, you still need people to work. You're going to need the worker bees. They need health care. I don't understand.
Well, they done set up a system to where they're getting income, and I don't know. In America, it's almost like the service industry and housing and the stock market and Silicon Valley and people that jobs corporations that don't need humans. The AI is becoming popular.
That's going to take over a lot of jobs.
Yeah, they're getting paid a lot of money off of that stuff.
So. And they even had in the bill not to allow the states to use AI, the good part of it, for health care, for different things like that. Not for that, they put a ban on it that the state, I don't know if they took, some people, they were saying they wanted that removed from the bill. They're trying to cripple everybody down, like back to the Gilded Age, where you had kids and children and things like that, working at factories and chimney sweeps and things like that. They're trying to get it back to that with just a handful of, and that's why I don't see why regular people working on a regular job would cheer Trump. Yeah, he came after the LGBTQ, especially the trans community. If that is not your community, why do you care what they're doing? And especially the trans, it's such a small. There's such a very, very small population, and you all vote for this type of. And if white people voted because they was going to hurt the brown and the black and the Asian and the women, and you had some men out here who can't get a woman, it's going to put women back in their place to become back to subservient to them. Well, you ain't gonna be able to take care of her and your family. You're not going to be able to take care of her and the family, because part of that thing, in a sense, as it's also in that bill, is going to allow some of these big, like people's 401ks and people's retirement funds, for them to be able to invest in that, take money out of them. So, I mean, it's just awful. We're doomed. The working people up to the semi-kind-of-rich, we're doomed. That's why when they took anybody who's jumping for joy for this, that's why when they took the polls, and even the Fox News polls, people's support for this bill is underwater. That's just how bad it is. And they just don't care. And I saw the only thing the Democrats could do, Hakeem Jeffries, I think, spoke for 6 to 8 hours. And I was like, okay. But then when I got the understanding of why he did that, they couldn't stop it. But he said, let them vote on it in broad daylight, because they wanted to do it in the middle of the night. So let them vote on it in broad daylight so everybody can see them. That's why he spoke for so long. I said, okay, I get that. I appreciate that. There's not much. They couldn't stop it because once they put their hard threat on the holdouts, they came along. They came around and went along with it. And I don't see Tyrone. If you say people in the chat, somebody in the chat is stumping for this. Are you a billionaire? And that tax on tips, they got a cap at 25,000. So that is people who's making very little money anyway. Those people who are getting taxed, who are getting tips, that their money and stuff, and it only lasts for 2 years, then it goes away.
Well, the way
So
the way AOC broke down that tax on tips made plenty of sense, and just showing you why they full of shit. They said that they give you a tax on your tips, but they're taking away your fucking health care, and they're taking away other stuff that you're gonna have to pay, and raising prices that you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. So the tax on tips really gonna fucking cancel out, and you ain't gonna benefit from it because how much you're gonna have to pay, for your health care and all that kind of shit.
And there's a $25,000 cap on that, and it's only for 2 years. It's only for 2 years, and there's a $25,000 cap on it. And the thing is, they said they didn't put provision. The average tips. People don't leave cash. They do put it on credit card. That will be taxed. You see what I'm saying, Tyrone?
Yeah.
So like people don't really leave tips, like leave a $50 tip on the table. People put that in the credit card with the price, whatever it is that they paying. They put the tip on the credit card.
And the majority of the working economy don't work off of tips. So it really ain't helping nothing but a small portion of people. If it
ain't
is
helping them much.
Yeah, it ain't even helping them.
Because who hardly pays in cash anymore?
Mm-hmm.
For dinners, like if you have a bunch of people get together and y'all tally comes to $600, and you get, I'm going to get a great tip, and you probably will, but each person is going to put it on their credit card.
Mm-hmm.
That will be taxed. So it was just a red herring that they put in there, a bunch of BS to make it look like they're trying to do something for you. And like they were saying, well, we're not going to tax Social Security. Yeah, but people who are on Social Security get Medicaid and a bill, like your co-pays and things like that. I think
no, they said that wasn't even. That's not in the bill where they're not taxing Social Security, is it?
No, that's not in there.
Yeah,
it's not. But the things that they're going to have to pay more for, and when it comes to their Medicaid, people who's on Social Security, when it comes to their Medicaid and things like that, and they just left the drug companies because we pay more for medications and things like that than any other country on this planet. So, I mean, to make it look like they're doing something when they're not. They're not doing anything. They undercut you. Because I heard someone say, it's just like they're saying, we're going to gut you, but then we'll give you a hand fan to fan the sweat off of you while we do it. That's all it is. And a lot of dumb people will fall for that. They will fall for that. And them tax cuts, from what I'm understanding, it will put $12,000 in the Richie's home, but it will remove $1,400 from the people, working class people home. So, I mean, this is the wealth is already calcified. So people have been trying to ring the alarm for years. Don't let it get calcified, but that has happened. This will make the big even wider the differences between the working class and the handful of ultra rich, and they don't have to like all of this monies and things like that on their beach houses and their main homes and stuff. They don't have to pay taxes on that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff is in the bill. They can pass that along to their children and grandchildren when nobody else has anything to pass over to their grandchildren and grandchildren. As far as building some type of wealth or some type of something in your family, if you don't already have it, like a lot of people don't, if in your family you don't already have them boomers that was able to buy homes and get this and get that. If you already don't have it, a little something, something, you're not going to get it. The next generations, they're not going to get it if you already don't have it. If your family don't have this, a home, like them boomers, bought homes, or a lot of the Gen Xers and things like that. If they didn't already have them homes where they have some equity built up in it, if it's just a lot of things. If you don't already have it, and if you have it, you better hold on to it before your retirement funds and things might get gutted. So if you ain't already had it, the next generations, they're not going to get it unless something is done. Unless something is done. And I remember I was listening to the Chinese people when they were picking at Americans. They was like, y'all need a revolution. And it's true. That is what we need. I don't care what the Trump supporters and Sarge and them say, because they gave all of them their talking points for them to go out and spread the lies and the misinformation. I don't care to hear it. That's why I called in earlier today, because the country, in a sense, is doomed unless something is done. Let's hope we have a midterm next year. We can get rid of all of them and they can step by step, because that's why they're rushing all this stuff now, because they know when the midterms come, you talk about a blue wave. People who ain't never, and that's why when I hear a lot of black people, it's like I'm telling you, Tyrone, when it comes to the MAGAs and white people who voted for Trump, we need those people to turn against him and vote them people out, all up and around their districts and in their states. We need those people. So that's why I'm glad to hear that what the polls are showing. I'm glad to hear what a lot of MAGA ex-Republicans are saying. This will be the first time that I donate. They say because there's no other parties that can really take them on. The Democrats is weak. I've never donated, but this is the first time I will donate to the Democratic Party, and this will be the first time in my life that I vote for a Democrat. I don't care who it is during the primary. We need those people. Unless Trump and them have a way of putting fix in again. But we need those people. We just do. Black people, minority people, we can't do it. We need them too. We do. That's all I have to say about it. This is just y'all brought up about Diddy. I can give two F's about that. I was hoping a lot of people would say that you was rooting for bad things to happen to a successful black man. No. Diddy is an abusive. He's abusive, and he's a dream killer, career stealer, thief, sex fiend, all of those things. That's just my opinion. And I was hoping he would have got convicted on some of those top charges. So, but I got to the point I wasn't following that anymore. I wasn't even following that. I left it alone because there were so many other pressing things. And with this whole bill, too much of the media was focused on the Diddy trial. That is the least of our worries. Even if they let him go and didn't convict him of anything, that's the least. And this is the thing about our people. We know he's an awful person. We've heard the things about him since the 90s.
What do you think he's going to go to jail?
Free. Yeah, I do.
But not for a long time, huh?
No, not for a long time. This is just my guess, they might, because he's still facing up to 20. He's not going to get nowhere near anything like that. My guess is that maybe around 5 years, 6 years. I think something on those lines. And I don't know how long he been in there with time served. Then he might get a year shaved off for good behavior or something like that. But they're going to give him a little bit of time. I would say probably no more than 5 for what they got him on. But people kept saying that the prosecution didn't prove their case. They proved what I read and what I was keeping up. They proved it to me. There's some things that they could have done better, but they proved it to me. The racketeering, I don't understand all them text messages with all of the people that was working for him, hooking up them parties, moving prostitutes from here to there to perform sex acts. They proved it to me.
Well, what I noticed is that they called the wrong people into the trial, and what I mean by that is P Diddy.
I agree.
Was rubbing the elbows with a lot of famous white celebrities, and those white celebrities didn't show up to that trial. So maybe they're trying to protect their own by not sentencing P Diddy harshly. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know. But
I mean, the dude, he did those things. The FBI raided his house, and they got the videotapes. They got the drugs. They got all of that shit. And
the text messages, all of the time.
So he did those things.
He did those things.
Yeah.
But I think the prosecution played it with too much sensationalism. And I think they should have spent, forget the sensationalism. They should have spent more time making sure that the jurors understood racketeering. They should have spent more time on that, making sure, because he did it. It was racketeering. They should have spent more time on that. And I'm sick about people talking about they going after a powerful black man. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Whoever's saying that is stupid.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Because plenty of white men been caught up, maybe not enough for them. But if you don't do those things, we have to be worried about being caught up in that kind of stuff. So it was disappointing for me, in my opinion, how things worked out. I mean, the trial and everything, but it is what it is. We have to accept the jurors. That's what they came back with. They couldn't come to a conclusion on the racketeering, the other things. They couldn't. So, I mean, it is what it is. We have to abide by that. There's some people were saying, well, you always were saying that as it related to Bill Cosby, that was different. Bill Cosby did them things too, but the way how they did him and put him in prison when he was given a deposition, he was promised, and they had that. So that was just totally different.
Yeah, they broke
how
the law
that
to
was
lock
done.
him up.
They broke the law, so he was gonna get out on that. But when it came to Diddy, they didn't break no laws coming after him. But it is what it is. We have to abide by it.
Yeah. Did you see my little thing about Solar Man?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was going to say that the outcome of this trial didn't surprise me at all. Is what I thought, that they weren't going to charge him with nothing. That's what I thought at first. But they did charge him with some things. As far as I'm concerned, the prosecution, they didn't prove a lot because some of it was kind of like hearsay. You see, and that's why they kicked out a lot of charges. That's why they got suspended. They got kicked out. So, I mean, Diddy, to me, one way or the other, whether he went to prison or not, it wasn't going to bother me or make me or break me. I really didn't care, to tell you the truth. But I think that, I mean, from my perception, he's going to get some jail time. I don't know how much time he'll get, being on that he's been there for about, a year. I think. So they're going to take off that time. But we're going to see what's going to happen with this thing. Again, it don't bother me one way or the other. I got too much. I think there's more important things to be worried about as black folk.
I agree.
Especially now that Trump can deport your black behinds to Sudan. Now, for me, if he deport me, I go, can you send me to Ethiopia? But anyway, so it's it didn't make me or break me. It didn't bother me one way or the other. I did not care one way or the other. I did. All of them, to me, whether he's a freak, not a freak on top of a freak, that they all freakish. All of them, including Cassidy. They're all freakish. They're always doing this shit. You know.
Well, I think it should bother the black community, man, because of the influence over the years.
It should.
that these people
Well,
had
no,
on.
I'm saying that no, but Tyrone, I'm saying this that we, we we have too many other things to worry about besides this dude. What he doing? And what I'm saying, what he did to me. Hold on, let me finish. As far as I'm concerned, what he did to me wasn't right. None of it was righteous. Period. But I'm saying that there's news, there's things that are happening around us that we should be focused on, but they kept trying to throw this thing at us, all this, I'm like, really? I don't want to hear about that dude. I don't. But again, hey, to each his own. People want to have their own opinions about him. I can care less. I was never a Puffy fan necessarily anyway. Musically wise either. So that's just my opinion. So I'm done.
Tyrone, can I say why it mattered to me?
Go ahead.
It wasn't the most important thing to me because there's more important things going on. But why it mattered to me, he screwed over a lot of young, especially black artists, a lot of black people, young black people with dreams, a lot of young black people with hope, and not just black people, but the majority. A lot of them with hope and dreams, with families that they wanted to go out here and use their talent and be able to earn and do for their families and to be able to build generational wealth for their families. And he killed a lot of dreams. That's why the Diddy thing, it wasn't the most important to me, but that's why it mattered to me that he get punished. Now, he wasn't charged with that, what I just said that mattered to me, but he did that. He killed a lot of dreams. He screwed over a lot of people. And the fact that our community a lot of people in our community is unable to build generational wealth, and they had dreams of doing that, building that for their families, and he stole it, and he screwed over them, and he threw a lot of people out like trash. That's why it mattered to me.
Yeah. I mean, and over the years, I mean, he represented blackness for decades, and they should punish that guy because I don't want to be associated with him in no part whatsoever. I mean, it's nobody like that because that guy, he's sick in the head. He's just like Solar Man.
He is.
All of them got.
And when people say, and what do we love to say? It be your own. It be our own. Look at all the people he took advantage of. And we don't even know all who didn't bother who does not even going to say anything because they just have moved on. He killed a lot of dreams just to fatten his pocket. And the abuse and things. No, that matters to me. When you do that to our people, that matters to me. It doesn't, like people say, like when white folks is doing it, okay, some people, it really, really matters. I don't care who's doing it. It matters to me when you're doing our community like that, and the people in our community and the young people. It matters to me.
Yeah, and his association like with the Mary J. Bliges and all those top celebrities that other, just by knowing Diddy or being associated with Diddy that contributed to our community. To me, I think that they dirty because they knew what the hell was going on. I mean, they just did. So I don't know. It's just jacked up all the way around, And I really wish he would have got more time than he got,
Right.
He got more convictions.
And Tyrone, that's a good point you made. I mean, that entertainment world, that has become it's always been dirty, but it's even more dirtier now than it's ever been. It's more wicked and dirty than it's ever been. And that's with guys like him and Epstein and
R. Kelly.
The other guys they took down. I said, this is really only scraping the surface.
It is
of that world.
Now that's a good point.
And just like the sister, the older sister of Kim Weston, she said the same thing. She said this stuff has been going on for even when she was in the business. She said that stuff was going on. People was taking advantage of. People was getting their contracts taken. People was getting their what's the word I'm looking at? What's the other word? Their trademarks and
Well, see,
all
well,
those things.
what's going on now is Tyler Perry. Did y'all hear about him?
Yes, I heard about him.
He
Yeah,
been
I haven't been
diddling.
I haven't been following that. Because that right there, that's the least important to me. If he was doing that, trying to trying to coax somebody into sex and stuff with him, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
I don't think
that whole industry
if
is.
Tyler was stealing dreams and throwing people out like trash, like Diddy.
Well,
that's more important.
But I'm saying, but Tyler Perry's been accused of that too. He's been accused of that too.
Yeah, it's the industry.
Not like
Those
Diddy.
people, they put
Not
on
like
this.
not like Diddy. He's been accused of not paying, not used to, not really, but he has created a lot of black millionaires.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. Even people like Monique and Tyler Perry, Monique can't stand him, and she explained why.
And I can't stand her.
What's wrong with Monique?
Yeah. Hold on one second, Tyrone. And for as I'm concerned, and she's been the most vocal about really trying to give people some insight was actually what's going on with folks, in that business and why she's not really working right now. But eventually she'll get back working again. But but they say he does the same thing. He does it differently than what than what Puffy was doing. But they say he does the same thing. He's the same way. They said that it's a couple other ones that are like that. They say Oprah is like that. She did that to people. What's the one that played in Color Purple? Makusi. I know that's her last name. Makusi. I forgot her first name. She said that about Oprah. That she said that idea was her idea, and Oprah took it. So
what idea?
It was something about Color Purple or something like that. And Makusi said that actually she came up with the idea to write it or something, and Oprah took it from her. So again, and you haven't seen Makusi in years in anything, in nothing.
What you mean to write the script for The Color Purple 2?
It was something like that. I don't remember the whole thing, but
because she didn't write it.
The actor didn't have nothing good to say about Oprah. Period. So, but again,
let me just say this.
Hold on a second.
Go ahead, finish.
My only point is that it's a dirty business. I don't give a damn who's in that business. It's been a dirty business for a while, and it's going to continue to be a dirty business. And now there's some of them that really are not into that. And they pay folks how they want it should be paid, and they keep it moving. They're not trying to take nothing from them. They're not trying to try to swindle them out something or do any of that. But none of them people to me, you can't trust a lot of them. Period. So I'm done.
Oh, Tyra, real quick about Oprah. I would have to hear what Makusi, because I don't even know who that is. But what she said. But as far as The Color Purple, when they took that on, I've never heard that she wrote the script for the second Color Purple 2. And she didn't hire any of the people. She gave suggestions who she wanted, but she didn't hire any of the people, and she didn't pay them. They had to go and do their contract, and everybody blames her for a lot of that stuff. But guess who got away with shitty contracts? Guess who got away with actually doing that? Warner Brothers. Because she was putting some of her own money and different things like that because she felt that when Taraji P. Henson was doing all that fussing, she should have clarified that her contract that wasn't good, she didn't negotiate any of that with Oprah Winfrey. That was negotiated with Warner Brothers. So I'm not taking up for Oprah because because I'm upset with her right now as well. But she took a lot of heat for something for like that Color Purple too that didn't have anything to do with her. She was one of the executive producers. That was Warner Brothers, baby. And people was blaming her for crappy contracts, things like that. She had nothing to do with that. Their people negotiated their crappy contract with Warner. Warner negotiated that. She didn't have anything to do with that. And she got the bad rap. After that was one thing that I got down into as it related to that. And she didn't have anything to do with a lot of that stuff that people blamed her for. And Warner Brothers, white folks, were let off the hook. And Steven Spielberg was trying to tell people that no, y'all blaming her but he didn't want to come out and trash Warner because he still has to work in that industry. But he came out because he was one of the executive producers. They were down on her, but Warner Brothers got away with not paying them anything. And black people, because they jumped and started blaming her, they tanked the movie. And a lot of those people's careers could have really exploded with awards and things like that. So a lot of black people got the wrong understanding of that. And they allowed Warner Brothers to walk and they blamed Oprah for that. So I'm upset with Oprah right now, but I have to speak up for that as it relates to that Color Purple. And when people was trying to tell people, y'all talk about Taraji and them contracts and that they not had paying people and that they not had, she had nothing to do with that. Nothing. Nothing. They didn't even want Taraji as her, as I'm going to have to say. They didn't even want her for the role in the beginning. They wanted to give it to the Smollett, Journey Smollett. They wanted that role for her. Oprah was like, no, these could be Oscar-winning roles. It's time for Taraji to get her flowers. And she was the one that, in a sense, went to bed and they said, okay. And they end up taking the movie. Then Taraji tried to come out because she didn't want to badmouth Warner Brothers, but she didn't never said that Oprah did this, that, her contract, but people took it to be that. And when Oprah had nothing to do with her contract negotiations, you need better people. And you know how Hollywood treats black actresses, black actors, period. So I think she kind of got up a bad rap, and our community jumped on board, and we helped tank the movie. We should have had a bigger box office, but we helped tank it. We got misled in that, and since everybody is so against the males, they probably was the ones behind it, getting people to do this. And you don't even know when you're being tricked and misled. So that's all I got to say about the Color Purple thing. Tyrone?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, that whole industry is full of corruption and devious stuff, and
It is.
and people with money and influence, they just do whatever because they have money and influence. And whenever it come to light, I mean, people should know by now. We done seen time and time again where corruption is exposed
Yeah.
in that celebrity lifestyle. Who's this unknown caller?
Yeah, hey, Tyrone. Hey,
Okay, Joe, hold on for one
I think
second.
that
Who's this other caller?
Miss Lady, hello.
Hey, Miss Lady, you can go after Joe. What's going on, Joe?
yeah, I think that we have to be honest about something here. You don't become a titan of any industry by being a nice guy. Not in America,
Exactly.
not in capitalism. And so,
Exactly.
if we're going to, as black people, if we're going to move into industries and take over and dominate industries, you're going to have to accept the fact that there's going to be some dirt. There's going to be. You're
Yeah.
just not going to do it as a nice guy. And so, what you hope for, I think, you hope that, in a person's, rise to prominence and or dominance, that, they open doors for people along the way. But understand, the most effective and the most dominating of people are pretty much assholes, and applies to men and women equally. So I mean, it's just the nature of the business, you know. And it's sad that it's that way, but this is the America we live in. It was founded by criminals. It was the first American, you know, businessmen were criminals, you know. And so, you know, it's basically how they say behind every great fortune is a great crime that hasn't been prosecuted. That's the way of the world that we living in here. So, you know, it's sad to say, but that's how it is.
Yeah, I
All
agree
right.
1,000%.
Miss Lady, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, yeah. What was this thing about solar mine? I missed it. You know.
Oh, you missed the solar
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, listen, look on the screen. This lady did a YouTube video, and this is Solar Man on the subway or on a bus or something like that. This is him sitting on the bus in front of a little 17-year-old girl. That's Solar Man. Okay, wait a minute. I gotta get in my commercial. All right, there you go, right there, sitting on the bus, and you'll recognize him in a minute whenever they zoom in. So that's the girl, that's Solar Man right there, and he's got his mess out in public, looking at a little girl, whack it off, and then she screams, "Are you just gonna do that?" You know, and then he gets up and walks out.
Damn.
They
How the
get on my
mighty have
nerves.
fallen,
I
huh?
might have to blur this out.
Wow.
Mighty? Why you calling him mighty? I never thought it was mighty.
No,
I
it's just
thought this
a
shit
phrase, you
covered.
know, how folks fall from grace, man.
Wait a minute.
Down nerves.
I think you can hear the audio on
I just
YouTube
like
if you're
Oh
listening.
my God.
Yeah,
You don't
I'll
care
have
at
to
all.
check
You
that out.
fucking
But you
addicted.
know, yeah, I
There you
wonder
go. Here you go.
how Renee
okay, it
and
did
old
pop
God
up.
and them feel about that.
See, she recording them.
Because I didn't remember. The name was familiar, but when y'all had brought up about oh God, no, yeah, it was, okay. Now I remember because I the name was familiar, but I couldn't place
Yeah, Solar Man and
him.
Oh God, they used to come on here and debate with
Yeah, they used
Poverty
to have a show on it.
Supreme, huh?
Yep. Yeah, they used to
But
have a show. Remember, they used to give me a show on it.
yeah, these people on social media, I don't know, I can't deal with them. But Miss Lady, I ain't forget about
Didn't
you.
they
How
get
you
hooked
doing
up?
tonight?
Yeah,
Oh,
just real
pretty
quick. Didn't they
good.
get
How you
hooked up with
doing?
Polite
Huh?
at one point? Didn't they get hooked up with Polite at one point?
Well, all of them was on there
Or
on
I guess
Sarnetta
they.
TV, and all of that was, all of them was over there hanging
Yeah.
around, all
Yeah.
that stuff. I never really got into
All
that.
right. Sorry, this lady. Go ahead, do your thing.
No, it's okay. I don't know who that Solar Mine is. I have no idea. I remember Brother Polite. Is he out of jail now?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I haven't. Yeah, that was all. That was just another big grift, And then people fall in with these cult like grifters. But I came in and I heard Sister Lisa talking, and I'm so glad you said what you did in terms of Diddy ruining people's future and their ability to create legacy for their family, especially during this time when everything is so utterly expensive and there's no job security anywhere. And we know AI is coming down. They could have built something up for themselves and their family and their community. And not only did he stop that, but he severely damaged people. They have lifelong problems, emotional, mental health problems from that. And some may have lifelong sexually transmitted diseases. And now they're obligated, before they get involved with one, to tell them, I have this problem. And so that's putting them in a very difficult position. And I'm sure a lot of people had, a lot of shame if they have to share that perhaps they might have a herpes problem. They might even have an HIV problem for all we know, all that was going on. We don't know. So he did a lot of damage, and all damage isn't the same. just like, yeah, I mean, it's like, I think people can easily dismiss the severity of the harm that was enacted on people for over years when they say, well, it's just a bad industry. Well, yeah, but not everybody in the industry acted that way. In fact, most have not. And even if some did, there's, there's gradients of harm, okay? The severity of the harm was different from one person to another. So yeah, somebody might have, I'm not dismissing it like it's nothing. Someone may have forced someone to have sex and they didn't want to have sex in order to get a rose. Or, they're big and they may kind of jump on someone and, without that person's permission. But that's a big difference from that behavior, from locking doors, beating people, kicking them in their backs and in their heads, and gang raping them, and drugging them without their knowledge, and having sex with people while they're unconscious because you drugged them up. So I'm not dismissing that evil behavior at all. Yes, there's dirt in most industries, okay? Where there's money and power, there's going to be dirt. Hey, but you have some dirt that got nutrients, that's organic, right? That can help grow plants, trees, vegetables. You have some dirt that's full of Roundup and all kind of harmful other chemicals and filth that's gonna destroy your vegetation. So I'm just saying, all dirt ain't the same. Everybody ain't the same. The severity of the harm and the length of the of time that harm was done is going to be different from one person to the other. And that's all I got to say on that. Yes, we are doomed, Sister Lisa. Professor Wolf and others have been talking about this for years.
Yes.
Professors, PhDs in economics, they're taught at universities. He's been saying this for the past 20 years. And he's ramped it up. He's all online. And it's like for the past year, he's been like, oh my God. Actually, since Trump's first term. And so, yeah, we're doomed. But you know what? Empires fall, but really they fall from within. It didn't have to fall, but because of the avarice, the greed, the extreme inequality and wealth, the deviancy and all of that, that's what brought it down. It wasn't usually a foreign enemy. It came from within. And that's what's happening here. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
Well, yeah, we didn't touch on a lot of this politics that's going on, but I mean, we talked about this years ago. It's the nature of white people to be this devious, to set up these concentration camps. And, I ain't giving P. Diddy no excuse, but, he learned that behavior from being in this society. And this society is the same thing that Donald Trump is showing us by wanting people to die. I told y'all he was the biggest mass murderer in history in COVID. He's doing the same thing right now. But what they actually has done, and nobody ain't really said it, is they was been trying to get rid of Obamacare, right? So now through this way, they're taking just about as many people off of health insurance as Obamacare put on health insurance, right? I think they said it was around 17 million people was going to lose their health insurance. Yeah. And Obamacare put like 20-some million people on health insurance. So it's this deep psychotic thing that they have in their head to where they like to see suffering and pain and death and making people beg for shit. It's crazy. That's the nature of white people. If you just think about the history of how we got here, all the castrations, all the lynchings, all the whippings, all of that just sick, disgusting stuff that white people is used to doing to other human beings. That's what they're trying to. That's what Project 2025 is. When you talk about taking babies off of food stamps, they want children to starve. You talking about building these concentration camps, and they putting human beings in there. Donald Trump literally was just down in Florida, and he was at this place called Alligator Alcatraz. Now, we've had conversation about them gator babies to black people on this show, where they used to feed children to alligators. And look at what they're doing. It's Alligator Alcatraz. And Donald Trump was asked about the prisoners being down there in Alligator Alcatraz, and he was talking about, I'm going to teach them how to dodge when they run away from the alligators. What kind of sick shit is that? These people are sick in the fucking head. At some point in time, people just got to say white people are ill. They are ill. There's something wrong with them.
Well, cruelty is the point. So it's cruelty, but they're going to make money while they're being cruel. And that's, I say Satan's busy. I'm sorry. These are demonic forces at work. Nobody can convince me there's not.
There's something wrong. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. You know what, Tyrone?
What's that?
Had an interesting conversation, if you could call it that, with Mr. Solutions the other day. And he was pumping some bullshit about, the Democrats only want to bring in these immigrants so that they'll vote Democratic. And I had to check him on that. I said, wait a minute. Democrats do not need these immigrants. They already outnumber the Republicans by a couple of million. All right? So there's nothing to be gained from adding, immigrants to the party just to vote for them. But I said to him, maybe it's just because it's the decent thing to do. And he couldn't understand that. And I said, let me give you an example. All right, Democrats pushed hard for Obamacare, right? Obamacare benefited poor white Republicans the most. The most.
Yes.
Not Democrats, right? But they lobbied hard for it and got it passed, right? Maybe, just maybe, it's, certain things are the right thing to do. And I noticed that, amongst a lot of MAGA people, they can't understand pure populism. They can't understand doing something and fighting for something because it's the right thing to do, not because there's a gain, so to speak, from it, but because it's humane, And it's sad. Like I said, I've said it before and I've said it again, that these guys, have lost their moral compass. They've lost their sense of humanity, for the sake of a red hat. And it's just mind blowing.
Did they ever have it in the first place, Joe?
They did not.
I don't know.
They didn't.
I don't think they did.
Good point. But just politics, at a certain point, was to benefit the people, regardless of whether those people belong to one party or another. Pure populism is to benefit the people. And it just seems like that's lost these days. We're not going to do it because you're going to benefit from it. So to hell with you and everybody that could benefit from this thing. This is what I hear from MAGA. Now, Sarge is hopping mad in the chat room and putting all this bullshit out there. You want to debate this shit, Sarge, you can call in. Like he's talking about Mandami in New York being, a communist and this and that. No, he's a populist in the Huey Long, vein of populism. Maybe he wants to do things for the people. And if that is communism, so be it. But at the end of the day, you guys need to check yourselves. You guys need to look.
That's what they used to do back in the day, Joe. That's the same old tired, attack. Oh, you're communist. That's to try and shut people down. That's old and played out. Nobody's paying.
Absolutely.
Nobody's buying into that foolishness. It's passe.
Anyway, I said my piece. I'll wait till Sarge calls in and starts ranting and raving because he's going to do it.
He will, and he will. But you're right. That's a good point. Some things you do and some things you don't do because it's the right thing to do. And it's just that simple. But some people are purely transactional. It's like, well, You know, they don't like before. It's just all relationships are transactional, especially like okay, with I'll take you on a quote unquote date, but you're just going to get a bottle of water for 50 cents, maybe because the time and energy I spent with you may not be really worth even that. So that's what it's about. It's just purely transactional. And there's no real genuineness there. You know, you don't see people, like you said, their humanity, and so, yeah, that's what it is.
But Miss May, that I'll take you on a date and get you a bottle of water and that type of stuff. That is why they want women stifled and put back in their place. Like back in the day where you needed a piece of man and a piece of man whose company and conversation ain't ish. And you have to because that's what you need to do to survive. That's why they want that. That's why they want that.
And the only position so they can abuse you. That's all it is.
So they can abuse you
financially, physically. They just want to be able to abuse you, and they want you to be obsequious and be on pins and needles and run to do everything for them that they feel you should be doing, cooking and cleaning and patting their head. But you better stay aside, even though you didn't have 3 kids. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And give me your paycheck. Because in our community, they can't run roughshod over the Caucasian, but they can do that over the women and children. And I hate to say that because I don't gender war, but that's what this is. They can do it to the women and children. They can get the women back to that. That's the only people that they feel that they can rule over in our community, the Black community. It's the women and the children.
And I think a lot of them so glad the Black women have lost their jobs. They happy.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm happy about it.
They happy. Because they resentful anyway. And they think that they're going to be beat down into their place. Okay, that's in their mind, they're critical where women should be, but beneath me. But I was listening to this older white woman being interviewed about white women. That's what she's talking about them. Because Black women have always had the word, and about the 50s. And she said people want to romanticize the 50s, and the women were staying home. She said her mother was a brilliant woman, and she wanted to be, I think, like a physician, a physicist, or something like that. But unfortunately, she got married, and that ended that dream. And she had 3 children, and she was beholden to the husband, who at times was not nice. And she was so angry because she was stuck at home, not being able to go to school and contribute. She knew she had the capability and she had the passion, but women weren't supposed to. They were supposed to be homemakers and housewives. So she said a lot of women that were stuck doing that and not having their own autonomy and being up under the foot of a husband were so depressed. They were taking a lot of drugs. They were getting pills from the doctor. There was a lot of alcoholism. They were frustrated and very angry. And, and so she said, thank God women were, in the 60s, they were able to, to come out from under that. That began that. But all of this romanticized in the 50s, that's all it is. It's a bunch of idealistic lies. And I'm not saying every family was that way, but a lot of them, she said, were. And so what does that do for a family when you have an angry, frustrated mother? That's not good.
No, it's not. Not good at all. But that's what they want to go back to. Popping pills, angry, secretly drinking. You know.
Do
They
y'all
wasn't
think
no
do y'all think a lot of women
disclaimer.
do y'all think a lot of women is falling for that? Now I see the trend of the trad wife or whatever. Those are white women that are do. But do y'all think but do y'all think a lot
I
of
don't
women
think
is
most
falling for
of
that?
them are. No, I think it's a
No,
lot. Well, some are
no.
brainwashed, but no. And then they got ones that fell into that, and they talk about how horrible it is too. Those white women, and how it's a trap. They're trying to trap you with kids, and you don't have an education, and you can't get out and take care of yourself, and divorce and crazy, abusive those are husbands. So there's a lot that came out talking about how horrible it was and how depressed they was.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what though? The problem with that, you know, white women say one thing, they talk that shit, but they support everything that the white man has done. Everything he has done, they support.
Not everything. Not
yes,
everything.
Yes,
So why was they out burning bras and stuff back in the 60s?
Hold on.
And women's rights and that kind of
They
stuff.
supported,
They wanted to go to
they
work.
support the idea of slavery. They support the idea of Jim Crow. They support the idea of black men and women being lynched. They supported all that. So I don't give a shit about what she's saying about her white male.
But then you had white women that were helping slaves escape from the Underground Railroad
I think
too.
care less about.
Well,
what
okay,
she's
don't
saying.
care, but you're not being honest.
because again, like I said
generalities.
before, it was them who stood around and watched a lot of people get lynched and laughed, had barbecues, had picnics, and all that stuff. So you know they talk a lot of game, but they support the whole idea of white supremacy. Long as her man in power.
What percent? What percent do you think supports it? Because what percent?
And it benefits
where's
her.
your data?
Okay, hold on. Can I finish talking? Long as it supported her and she supported and it benefited her, all that what she said, it don't mean a damn thing to me. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Don't mean anything to me. So
this is the thing. They had no rights. They couldn't vote. They couldn't divorce. So I'm just trying. I hear what you're saying.
Because
but
what
were they going to do?
Just like the white women didn't give a damn about black women being lynched, etc. They didn't care. So I can care less about her problem with her man. I can care less.
You don't care about a lot of things. You don't care about duty. You don't care about women.
I don't care about
what do you care about?
Because Diddy's his behavior is irrelevant to me.
So as long as it's irrelevant, you don't care about it. Okay, I got it.
Because I don't. It's irrelevant to someone like me. It's irrelevant to me. I don't give a shit about his freaking shit. That's his problem. It's not mine.
Care nothing about what he did to
keeping
the black man. Okay.
You're keeping it on his that he's freaky. That's not what this is about. It's about taking advantage. Taking advantage of young people. They were unable to build. They were unable to build family wealth. People have a right to want to sing. They have a right to want to be in the entertainment business. They have a right to do all of that. I hear what you're saying. You said it don't matter to you. Only time it matters to you is when white folks doing it.
No. He is a sick person, and it don't matter to me. And it doesn't matter. White folks are doing the same game. They play the same game that he did. They do the same shit.
Yes, they do. They do.
So I'm saying again, that's why I'm saying for him, I can care less. I'm saying for him, I hope by just some miraculous spirit, whatever, that they give him 20 years just to be assholes towards him. I hope they give him the 20 years, which they probably won't. But again, someone who was wrapped up in that type of thing, that criminality like that, I have to keep it moving, because if I worry about the shit that he did, that shit would depress me. So I don't have time for that. I don't. And this is why I say, as far as the white woman's concerned,
I believe that's why I believe you just don't care.
Worrying about what her man did to her? No, your man and you, white woman, who wrote the Daughters of Confederacy, who helped change the narrative and said that black people were subhuman and when slavery was okay, it was a good thing. When they wrote the Daughters of Confederacy by white women, they formed an opinion about slavery to make it was okay. It was okay for white folks to do what they did because they saw us less human. That was written by white women wrote that. So
yeah,
I don't give a shit about
they
what
wrote
she
that.
I don't give a shit about what she thinking. And look, my point to you and this lady, Elisa, I'm not trying to argue about white women. I'm not trying to argue
Nobody
about
arguing with
someone.
you.
Hold on 1 second. And I'm not trying to argue about P. Diddy's ass. I'm still thinking what 50 Cent said about him. 50 Cent said he think he killed people. And that's what I do believe he did that too.
I do too.
But they can't prove it.
Voted for Trump.
And some of them rappers, some of them new rappers that was found killed and that was murdered, I guarantee he might have something to do with that. Now, that's just me saying that. So that's all I got to say.
Okay.
I'm done.
Allegedly.
Yeah, right. Allegedly. Yeah, right.
Trump, white women voted for Trump. 53.
We can
Hey,
barely
your audio is
way.
muffled, Miss Lady.
Okay.
Say something.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at U.S. News and World Report. They said that I think, in the election, and I think it's this past one, 50%, Harris received 46% of white women's vote, and Trump got 53%. So yes, Trump, white women who voted supported Trump more than they supported Harris, but still a sizable amount voted for Harris. So that's what I'm saying when you just dismiss everything. Oh, they all blah, 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 blah. And you're very dismissive. And I hear what you're saying because I kind of agree too. But, I like to get a little bit more fact-based instead of just making sweeping, general arguments.
No, I'm fact-based, period, when it comes to the white woman, period.
Okay, fine. But even though we understand the situation that we are here across the planet, actually, but we just keep it on America, I champion white women with the feminism and trying to bring down the patriarchy. I champion that. And they made some they unfair with it, but they've made a lot of strides with that. The feminism trying to bring down the patriarchy. And as a black man, this not your patriarchy. And you would hope that more of them get on board with the feminism to help bring the patriarchy down, because it's not your patriarchy. And they're going to keep their foot on your neck unless it's brought down. That's how I look at it. Well, and then a lot of our men, they run down feminism. They run down black women who gets involved with feminism. And I get it, because as far as black men, we can control black women. Can't control anybody else. But you can control black women and children. Something has to be done. And a lot of our narrow-minded thinking is not healthy. It's really not.
And that's why we don't have black women back in the kitchen with children uneducated, so they can abuse the black women and the children like those white men used to be able to do their women.
The ideal of feminism came out the ideal of white supremacy. Period. White women white women had nothing. Did not have the ideal of blackness. Matter of fact, the ideal of feminism, some of it was based on the fact that they did not like black men. The feminists, they didn't like black men. What's the one? Steinem. Steinem hated black men. Hold on now. He hated black men.
That it had issues. Okay. Did you not hear that?
Did you not hear that?
Listen to what I'm saying. No, hold on. No, you brought up feminism to me, and I don't know why you brought up feminism to me, because white
I
women
wanted
like
to.
Steinem. Hold on 1 second. Because white women like Steinem, who hated black men, she even admitted she didn't like black men. Even though she had an affair with one, her hypocritical ass, did not like black men. And she supported Michelle Wallace when Michelle Wallace, a black woman, wrote the book. And she used the book that Michelle wrote, she backed the book that this black woman wrote in order to put a rift during the 60s between black men and black women. Steinem was an agent.
No.
She worked. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. She was an agent, and she did exactly what she was set out to do. She didn't like the Black Panther Party. She hated the Black Panther Party.
And the Black Panther Party treated their women like shit.
Okay, hold on.
How about that?
You always pick up that shit.
But did they not? Did they not? Did they not? Did they not?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Did they not?
Let me answer that. Here's my point. Yes, there were some idiots in the Panther Party who did bad things as far as women was concerned. Okay? But for the most part, the Black Panther Party, I think, in some cases, when dealing with children and dealing with women, they was pretty goddamn successful. Okay? And they can't control every man in that party. But what I would say is get back to Steinem. Oh, no. And feminism, they kicked her out of the origin of the feminist movement, which was called the Red Stockings movement. They kicked her out because they said something was wrong with her. They got away from her.
Okay, you're talking about Gloria Steinem. Why do you give a damn if she likes black men?
No.
They can help bring that patriarchy down.
No. I said,
why do you give a damn if she likes you? I don't care if she likes me.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. No, that's not what I said. Don't twist my words, Mr. Lisa. That's not what I said.
Twisting anything. You said she doesn't like black men. You said that.
A black woman who wrote a book that was demasculizing black men during the 60s. And Steinem backed her. Hold on. And Steinem backed her because Steinem had an issue with black men because she, working along with her white male counterparts, said, how can we take the black masculinity and villainize it? See, the Black Panther Party was one of the most polarizing movements here in America. Period. Because
what's left that what they did? What's left that they did?
Okay. It was one of the best polarizing black movements here in America because it showed black men showing some strength at that particular time. Period. Okay.
And you know what's left from that part? What's left from the party? What is the lasting legacy from that party? I'm just asking you.
Well, the lasting legacy, to be honest with you, it was something very basic. That was the free luncheon program. That was
the women created that. The women created that.
No, it was the Black Panther Party. Okay, hold on. It was the Black Panther Party who introduced that.
The black women within the Panther Party created that.
Okay, so
the
now
black women actually were behind any success of the Black Panther Party. They did mostly all of the work, and they didn't get the credit for it. And you know what? I knew someone. She told me they were working so hard for the Black Panther Party and doing all this work, and then on the weekend, the black men were going out with white women. They weren't even taking the black women out. They were going out with. She said they forgot all that. She said we quit that Black Panther Party and we started straightening our hair back and we went on about our business.
The Black Panther Party. Those women in the Black Panther Party did not share your viewpoint.
Who was involved with the Black Panther Party? She was an educator.
Did not share your viewpoint.
An educator, and she was a teacher with a master's degree.
Who believed in the Black Panther Party did not show did not have your viewpoint. I'm serious. They didn't have your viewpoint.
The black
They did
men
have
were
your
going out
point
with white
when
women.
it
They
comes to
weren't
black
even
men.
taking them out.
Okay?
While they were
I'm
doing
saying this.
all
So
that
I'm saying
work.
this. No. So I'm saying this. Both of them.
I don't care
If
what
we
you're
had
saying.
any
I'm
members,
saying what I'm
if
saying.
we,
And
well,
you're not the only
what you
one
saying?
that has
My point is this.
information.
My point is this.
You're
My
not the
point is this.
only one.
Those
You think your
black
point
men
is more
and women,
relevant
hold
than
on.
anybody
Those
else's.
black men
You
and women
think you
of the
are
Black Panther
lying.
Party. No.
You are
Those black men and
lying.
women of the
You
party.
are
Hold on.
lying.
Those black
The
men of the
women
Black
made
Panther
that
Party. They
party.
did not share your viewpoint.
The
None. They
women
didn't share your
made
viewpoint.
that party. They
They
were
didn't-
the hard
they didn't hate
workers
black
in
men.
that party.
They didn't hate black men like
Bottom
you do.
line.
They didn't
Bottom
hate black men
line.
like you do.
No one said that they hate black men,
Okay,
that
but
those
see,
women
Miss
hate
Lisa,
black men.
why we at the
I'm
point,
being
Miss Lisa?
honest
Hold on
about
a
it, and
second.
he's
Why we
not.
at the
But
point?
you're
being
Hold on a
very
second. Let me ask
You're
you a
being
question.
dishonest.
Why
You
we
need
at
to
this
read
point?
some of the books. You need to
Why we
read some
at
of the
this
books
point?
from the
I
women
have
who
Why
talked
were
we
to
at
in
this
that
Elaine
point?
party.
Brown. I
Why
have
we
talked
at
to
this
Elaine
point?
Brown. What are you talking
Why
about?
I'm asking you a question.
What are you talking
Why we at this
about?
point?
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth.
Well, you're very ignorant when it comes to this.
You're talking
You're
about
ignorant.
Elaine Bryant. Hold on, you talking about Elaine Bryant, right? Elaine Bryant went off and she married a white guy. She went off and married a fucking white guy.
And so what?
Okay, what's your fucking point?
The Black Panthers was dating plenty of white women on the weekend.
No. We're at this point because you and Miss Lisa have made it a man against woman thing, and that wasn't even the conversation.
No.
Fucking conversation.
No.
Can I
No. I'm being
honest. Fucking man against woman thing.
No.
You do that motherfucking shit. You do that shit all the fucking time. You do the same shit
and you
over
get
and
all
over again.
hyper and emotional.
You
get all emotional, and you don't bring any facts to anything, and you make general sweeping arguments that make no sense. You just have a narrative you want to push. You have a narrative you want to push, but you don't want to be honest about how black people treat other black people. You don't want to be honest about that. You just want to look at the white man and what the white man and the white woman has done. But you don't want to take a look at yourself and your folks either.
I look at myself every goddamn day. Okay? I myself every goddamn day. I'm doing nothing.
I'm going every day. You didn't care because it didn't have nothing to do with you. Just like that.
I'm saying like this.
You don't care.
Saying this to you. So no, you don't care
about the black
community. You don't care. On the phone, the main subject, a black against woman, a man against woman.
About the black community. As long as it don't bother you, as long as you're not involved, you can care less.
That's the conversation.
And I'm glad you said what you said because it could come out.
Because you know what a fucking man hater. That's all the fuck you are. It's a motherfucking man hater. That's all you are. That's all you are. It's a motherfucking man hater.
Can I say something, guys? Yeshua, you made a statement that not one of the women who were part of the Black Panther Party has some of the sentiments that was spoken on the phone tonight. I beg to differ. I think you need to read some of their later books and things. A lot of them did have some of the same sentiments. So you made that. No, allow me to finish. You made that statement that not one, and that's just not true. Because you make these type of statements and these broad statements that it's not true. Nobody hates men. We don't have enough people over here in the United States for us to. May I finish? We don't have enough people over here. We don't have enough people in the United States, as far as our people are concerned, to be hating one another. But you make broad statements that it's just not true. I think you need to read some of their books that they wrote in latter years. They weren't trashing or hating anybody. They were just speaking some of the things that went on back then. And I was not there. I was not alive. And I don't know how old you are, but I was not alive then. So I can only go by their words. And some of the men from back then had spoke about some of the things. So you made a broad statement that was not true.
Okay. Okay, no, I made a statement that was true, and this is what I said. It was true what I said. I said the Black Panther Party and their organization had some knucklehead men. That's what I said. Okay.
No, you said. I'm going to remind you what you said. Not one of the black women that was a part of that party has some of the sentiments that we heard during this phone tonight. You said that. You said that. Don't change it. Don't switch it. Don't rewrite history.
If you let me finish talking, I'm going there. What I was saying, that those women, and since you talk about the women who have, some of the women who have written books about their sentiments about some of the members of the Panther Party, okay, and how some of the sentiments of the how some of those brothers were in fact practicing misogyny in that particular group. But what I was saying, abuses. Okay, hold on a second. So what I'm saying, in all groups, black groups, you had the same problem. This wasn't just the Black Panther Party, but the Black Panther Party, to the way I see it, despite those women would tell you, the ones who wrote the books would say, despite our sometimes our dissatisfaction with some of the members of the party, most of them women will also tell you that overall we had an agenda, both black men and black women in our organization. This is why I'm saying that they wouldn't necessarily share the sentiments of Miss Lady. I know for a fact. Okay?
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's what I'm saying, that yes, you had issues in the Panther Party. And I'm not here to talk about the negativity of the organization. I'm talking about what they tried to accomplish and what they did accomplish when they were at their zenith. That's all I'm trying to say. But I'm not here to argue with a bunch of women, especially there's one who hate black men.
She doesn't hate black men.
Okay?
She doesn't hate black men.
No, but I'm saying that's her conversation all the damn time. Every time.
Now here's another lie. Here's another sweeping
every time that shit
statement he makes.
And there are people on the road that would know that.
That's his go-to. Just when he's upset, he makes sweeping statements.
Let's change the subject. Since we don't agree, let's change the subject.
It don't matter what the subject is. You still make sweeping statements.
Since we don't agree, let's change the subject.
It don't matter what the subject is.
That's the thing that we can do right now.
Because you get upset and you go, you hate me.
I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear none of that shit.
No one on this phone hates men.
Okay.
No one on this phone hates men.
Can we change the subject?
We can change it, but I just had to put that out. No one on this phone hates men.
Okay.
You made that statement. Nobody on this phone hates men.
Let's change the subject.
Because we're all we got. So when you make sweeping statements like that, nobody on this phone hates men. That's the reason that I joined TRS, more so for men, because I saw the road that a lot of them were going down. But I had since got off of that. I learned a lot over the years, and I saw a lot over the years from the exceptions. So nobody on this phone hates men. Nobody does.
Okay. Again, is there something else in the news order, in the news world we could talk about? I
don't know. Tyrone, where you at?
I'm here.
Tyrone.
Yeah, I guess the conversation started out talking about the contribution that white women are making against patriarchy, and I mean that's a fact. You got some on both sides of it, but then you got some on the other side that is contributing to the hate and stuff like that. So
yeah, you got that in every community. We got it in our community. We have it, and look at the Latino community. But see, the community is so diverse. But I mean, you have that in all communities. But yeah, white women, no one has never said they don't uphold racism, white supremacy. Nobody's never said that. I was just talking about the feminist movement, things like that. That helped to put a big chip and a big, it did some damage to the patriarchy. That's all I was saying. And I champion the dents that they put in the patriarchy. That's all I was saying. Gloria Steinem and all of them, whether they were agents and all of that stuff, and they don't like black men, I care less who they like. Long as they can help, long as that patriarchy get taken down. Because everybody,
I think a lot of that narrative. I think a lot of that narrative about Gloria Steinem and all that kind of stuff don't take into the account the time that they were living in, and it being a modern day assessment of their motivations on social media. We really don't know what the motivations was like it's put out on social media. You know, the intentions could have been intentions could have been good. I don't know.
Could have been bad. Could have been bad, but they put some knocks in. They put some knocks in the patriarchy. That's the only thing I care about.
I quote
because you know what, patriarchy, misogyny, and racism go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So when you knock on the door of patriarchy and make some steps, you know, that's a good thing.
Racism right there, misogyny right there. It all goes together. It all goes together.
Okay. As what I do is champion those black women who started their own feminist movement. Okay, and they had different ideals. Okay, there's a book written by two black women, and it shows how they started their own feminist movement during, I think, the 1940s. I think that's what that was. Don't quote me on that. But it's a book by two black women and how they started their own feminist movement because they was not received by the white women at that time during the feminist movement. They wasn't, in fact, received by them. So they said, okay, we'll do our own feminist movement. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm not going to continue to talk about the feminists or the whoever. But I do champion those strong black women who were able to see things differently and was able to say no, because that's their issue with their men. You know what I'm saying? At one particular time, and which I felt was like, what your men was trying to hold on to power. So all those white women, and that's my argument, that the fact that their men was trying to hold on to what they felt that they built. So,
well, when you up on a pedestal, when they put you up on a pedestal, that's what it is. One of my whoever that is who said it so quick. One of my who I champion, one of my sheroes is Ida B. Wells. That should tell you where I stand on this. She saw through them because she wanted them to get involved with the lynching and things, mainly that was going on with the black men and black things like that in the South. But she was also for women's rights. But I champion Ida B. Wells. That's one of my sheroes. But who screwed her? But I can all have to add this. Who helped to try to screw Miss Ida?
Yeah. And
not just some white women. Who tried to screw Miss Ida?
Hold on 1 second.
Black men.
And she in fact was the one who really spearheaded the anti-lynching. That came from her.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who helped to screw Ida? You have to add that. That's why we feel the way we feel. Who helped to screw Ida though? Yeah. And got in cahoots with them women to screw over Miss Ida.
Well, this is the point. I don't know about those black men. Hold on, let me finish my point because you're not letting me talk. My point is that whatever black man that tried to screw her in history, he's an arrogant. Like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Hey, Tyrone.
So you know what the greater society does has an impact on what black people do. Black people pick up attitudes of a greater society as well, and they want to mimic them. For instance, that incel mess and all that foolishness. Here they come jumping on the bandwagon. So it is important to take down that male patriarchy because now you have black men parenting that old trad wife foolishness. So yeah, we should understand that.
All right.
We should understand that. We don't live in a vacuum.
Let me let ABC in here. What's up, ABC?
Hey, what's happening? I just wanted to ask you about. I heard you. I popped in late, but I heard you say something about Gloria Steinem, and then you said that we can't put like motives or something or agendas on them. We don't know about that time what their intentions was and this kind of thing. And you mentioned that in context with Gloria Steinem. Can
Yeah,
you?
what I'm saying is like that was what over 50 years ago or so, and society mindset was different between men and women. You know, we were looking at each other differently then, so we don't know what the real motivation was. But what I hear is modern day interpretations of what they thought that they was doing and what they thought the results was. We don't know that for sure.
So specifically about Gloria Steinem,
Hmm.
you know she worked with the CIA, right?
Go ahead. What you thought?
Well, that's meaningful to me that she's, you know, known as like the mother or the leader of the feminist movement, but
Hmm.
she is working with the CIA. That doesn't make you question anything?
What was she doing with the CIA? ABC.
Well, it appears that she was an agent of the CIA, but I'm just saying that she was working with the CIA. You can Google it and you can get the details what her specific relationship was with it. But what I think it's about is the CIA was pushing this agenda. For what reason?
Push your what agenda?
The feminist agenda.
So the feminist agenda was going on way before the CIA even came into being.
Well, they could have co-opted it.
Yeah, and that's what they
Okay,
did.
so it's
That's
right
what they
here. Why,
did.
why don't you why don't you just Google it your damn self? It says Gloria Steinem, a prominent figure of the feminist movement, has been linked to the CIA through her work with the Independent Research Service, the IRS. This organization, largely financed by the CIA, employed Steinem in 1958. Steinem herself acknowledged her involvement with the IRS and the CIA, stating that she founded the agency to be liberal, nonviolent, honorable. I don't know what the hell you're saying, ABC.
Okay, I'm saying that if the CIA is involved, it ain't for the good of the people.
Do you know what the CIA stands for?
The Central Intelligence Agency.
Okay, so what's evil about that? See, you see, here's the deal: is that
No, wait. Just hold on. No, you about to give these
okay?
platitudes stuff. Just simply, you saying the CIA is good or has good intentions?
I'm saying the CIA is a government agency and it's a federal agency. I don't know what. See, here's the deal: is that you
When you
are
start doing that, you don't know what you're talking about.
This is what I'm saying, and this is what we need to get away from: is you falling for this whole narrative and this conspiracy about the CIA and the government and them manipulating people. And I just ain't on none of that shit, man. That's just you.
Okay, and I understand you
Let
saying
me
I'm
say
talking
something, ABC.
conspiracy, but the simple thing is the CIA good for the people? Yes or no? And you sound like you saying it is,
I'm saying
which
that
is
it's got its
incredible to me.
uses. It's got its uses in history. We've got to where the CIA did evil things, and we got to where the CIA did good things. So you just can't put a fucking blanket on it and say, "Oh, it's the devil."
Can I say something? Look. The bottom line with the CIA is this: the CIA was not good for black folk. The CIA spied on Dr. King. The CIA followed Malcolm around. They followed Malcolm around. The CIA was never good for black people, especially at that particular time. The CIA followed Black Panther members around. They spied on them. So the CIA was never good for black, and it's always been a organization who undermined the development and the process of black people. Period. The CIA.
That's true. That's
Tyrone,
true. And
Tyrone.
if Gloria Steinem
What
worked
you
with
mean,
the
Tyrone?
CIA,
Well,
and if
I'm not
Gloria
saying I'm
Steinem
not
worked with
saying
the
that those things.
CIA,
I'm not saying that those things did not get done, and I don't agree with none of those things. But whenever you look at the CIA's function, which it says the Central Intelligence Agency, the civilian foreign intelligence services of the federal government of the United States, is tasked with advancing national security through collecting and analyzing intelligence around the world. Whenever you look at that function, they probably doing the United States a whole lot of good. I don't know.
Now,
You
Tyrone,
can't be that naive,
Tyrone,
man. You're a grown ass
right?
man.
Tyrone, They're not doing us a lot of favor, especially black folks, and they didn't do a lot of favor to the Africans on the continent because they was totally complicit in the coups and the overthrows of those African leaders who tried to have a sense of self-determination.
Okay, but
period.
listen, but what I'm trying to tell you is you're not hearing me. I'm not saying I agree with.
I'm hearing you what you're saying.
Okay,
but
but
you can't.
let me
But
finish.
Tyrone, the only thing I'm saying is, bro, you can't. You got to pick one or the other.
You got to pick. You got to pick one or the other. I'm telling you. Hold on. I'm telling you my view. I'm not saying those things that you guys are saying that the CIA was involved in against black people aren't evil shit. It is. It is. The FBI, all of these agencies against the black community, I don't agree with none of their tactics. But that is not their primary.
So what's left to say, man?
But that ain't their
what's
primary.
What's left to say? I'm sorry to cut you off, but you trying to pretty it up. I'm just
not trying
acknowledge that all this shit happened.
You see, this is the problem with people on social media. Is y'all got like a cult-like mindset. And if somebody's gonna agree with y'all 100%, if someone agree with y'all 100%, y'all try to damn chop them down and fuck them up. I ain't on none of that shit. That's y'all.
Tyrone, can I say something? Mm-hmm. If Gloria Steinem worked with the CIA, so did different ones from the Civil Rights Movement, so did some Black Panthers, and the CIA and the FBI, along with the people from the Nation of Islam, helped murder Malcolm X.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. So Elisa is absolutely right. So at that time that they doing all this bad stuff against Africans and all this kind of stuff, I'm not agreeing with any of that. I really ain't.
Nobody agrees with that.
You can't just take Gloria Steinem's involvement with the CIA and say that it's somehow associated to hate black people because she worked with the CIA. I just gave you the reason why she was working with the CIA.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. And Tyrone, and the only thing I'm saying is this, that if you look at the beginning of her career as a feminist, before she became a prominent figure in the feminist movement, I said earlier, there was a movement before her. It was called the Red Stockings movement. That was the original feminist movement. They kicked her out and said, this woman's crazy. So they got rid of her. And then she left. For some reason, as a matter of fact, they found out that she was working with the CIA. There was some things about her. And they, in fact, said,
that was Gloria Steinem. That was Gloria Steinem.
Right.
So she did that.
Hold on one second.
And so did some black people too. They did it.
We know there were black folks working for the CIA. We know there were black folks that were agents. We get that. We understand that. But my point is that...
Do you care about that?
As far as... yes, I do. As far as the feminist movement, Ms. Steinem became a prominent figure. And she had an issue with masculinity. And she went out, and she backed Michelle Wallace was her name, and she wrote that book. I got the name of the book, but it's right on the tip of my tongue. It's right in my head, but I can't remember the name of the book that she wrote. And Gloria Steinem backed that book only because it was a book where she was criticizing black male masculinity. If Michelle Wallace had wrote a book supporting black male masculinity, Steinem would never supported her, period. So
that's another thing. Y'all hung up on them masculinity.
Wait a minute, let me say this right here. Whenever you say,
that's all.
Let me ask you this question. Whenever you say Steinem had a problem with masculinity, you're not looking at the time period when women had to stay in the goddamn house, and they was in the era where masculinity ruled women. You didn't have fair pay. You didn't have it was just unequal at that time. So yes, she's gonna have a problem with masculinity when masculinity got the damn boots on her goddamn neck. What the fuck is y'all talking about?
Okay, wait a minute. Hey Tyrone, let me ask you a question. I want you to be honest. When has black male masculinity ruled black women? Really?
Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is during that time, black male masculinity did not outweigh white male masculinity. Do you understand that?
So, no, right. So I'm asking you a question. When has black male masculine ruled black women? Because Steinem's issue was also with black men, and we don't know why. Because she's not black.
Okay, so that's something that you're making up. I don't know why you're
No,
saying
I'm not making that up. No, I'm not making that up. There have been documentaries where they have said that. They would say, why would you care about the movements of black people? Why would Steinem care about the movements of black people? Why would she care?
Because black women, okay, I'll tell you why. And this is just my assumption. Because just like white women, black women were being oppressed. Black women did not have the freedom to move around. Black men was taking advantage of black women. Yes, Yashua, goddamn.
Yes.
You don't remember remember the whole pimps and the hoes era? You don't remember them beating up bitches and slapping them with beating them with clothes hangers? You want to have this conversation, nigga? With black women back in that damn time. You shut up. You remember? Listen, let me finish. I heard you talk, nigga. I heard you talk. You don't remember Papa was a Rolling Stone when the men used to leave the home and make babies all over the goddamn place? And then mama's, what was it? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. All of that bullshit, Yashua, that was black men taking advantage of black women during that damn time.
Tyrone, listen to what I'm saying, bro.
Well, Tyrone, every group of people, masculinity has ruled over the woman's femininity. Every group, ours as well. So I don't know what you're talking about, Yashua. Every group, every race, masculinity has ruled. So I answer it. Black male masculinity has always ruled over.
Can I talk?
Like everybody else, and it ain't a problem.
Right, exactly. So my point is this. Again, black male masculinity had, for certain reasons, to this white woman, Steinem, he had an issue with it. Black men were the only person.
No, she just joined forces with a woman. She had an issue with black men.
No, Tyrone.
But if she did, why you care? Why do you care?
Hold on, can I talk? Because now you're this bullshit me right now. That's what you're doing. You just bullshit. That's all you're doing is bullshit. I'm saying this.
Bullshit, man.
Why do you care if she didn't like black men? Who cares?
Let me. Because I'm telling you why the CIA agent sent her into the black community with other black women to do what she did. That's my point. So
okay, so let me break it down to you like this right here.
Hold on, bro. Because you came at me. You called me a nigga and all that shit. You good for that shit.
No, that's how I talk, y'all. I apologize for my language. This is the way I talk. I'm sorry.
Good night, everyone.
I told you I skipped the subject. I told you I skipped the goddamn subject, but you won't skip it. So my point is this. The only thing I'm saying is this, Tyrone. Black men who indulge in that behavior of disrespecting and abusing black women were wrong, Tyrone. And that had nothing to do with masculinity. That was ignorance.
Okay,
so that had nothing to do with black male masculinity.
Okay, so we
Those
agree.
Men who did that were not. Tyrone, a pimp is not masculine, Tyrone. That don't make him masculine because he takes advantage of women. That's not being masculine.
Okay,
Tyrone.
so
to
we
be
agree.
Masculine is to protect your woman.
You
Tyrone,
said
that's masculine.
You just said that when black men conducted themselves, that was wrong. We agree on that, right? That's what you just said, right?
When he said pimps, he said pimps was wrong.
No. He was saying when black men took advantage of women and all that kind of stuff, that was wrong, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so during that time period, we could also agree there was a societal way that black men treated women during that time. It just was. And the reason shut up, nigga. See, that's the way I talk, Yashua. Don't take that. don't take that personal. But the reason that black men treated black women like that is because they was copying white men, just like you got ABC on this damn phone right now, copying a white man. They had the same fucking goddamn mentality back then against black women. They copied the white men. They tried to have trad wives and all this kind of traditional wives and have the woman stay at home and take care of all the damn babies, barefoot and pregnant and all that kind of shit was oppression to black women, Joshua. And there was a movement to fight against that type of mentality. And that's what you're criticizing.
No, but Tyrone, You don't know all black women of that time to make that statement.
I don't, but I do know that you can look at you can look at that movement that you guys are criticizing right now and say, okay, what was the reason for that damn movement? There was a reason for that goddamn movement.
The Black Panther Party movement had nothing to do. Right. And the Black Panther movement had nothing to do with that generation of that type of behavior. They had nothing to do with it. They were dealing with their own situation. They had nothing to do with that.
Well, you're making that up.
Can I say?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, this stuff don't happen in a vacuum, and it trips me out. That's how you're trying to portray it, Tyrone. Like, black men was abusing their wives, like the white man was abusing his wives. So all these men abusing the wives. So therefore, the feminist movement. That's total bullshit. Yeah, you got some bad husbands, you got some bad boyfriends, you got some good husbands, some good boyfriends, and everybody's shit. But that time, in that time in history, in the '60s, with that sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and women's liberation, and they walk around with their titties hanging out and all this different kind of shit. That was a forced agenda that was pushed forward to feminize the country and demasculinize the men. And like Joshua was saying, all that pimp shit with, wearing all these clothes and the high heel shoes and shit like that. And that's a subset of any people.
Okay,
that ain't how everybody was running this shit.
So are you saying that the black family during this time period that we're talking about, are you saying that the husband and the wife team was in the house and it was a perfect nuclear type family? Is that what you're saying was going on, ABC?
No, I ain't saying that anybody has ever. No, listen, nigga, hold on, nigga. I ain't saying that any people, black, white, Indian, Asian, none of them had a perfect nuclear family. You threw that shit in there, perfect. It ain't no such thing. You dumb motherfucker. But real talk though. Look, man, people are people. And the shit ain't perfect. If you've been married, you gotta work through marriage. We're gonna have differences all set. We don't need to go into all that. I'm just saying you trying to make it like, yeah, the black man was beating up his wife every night, just like the white man was beating up his wife every night, and that's why the women need it. Man, get the fuck out of here. That's some stupid shit. During that time, you also had the Nation of Islam, you had the Black Panthers, you had these different groups trying to fight for the black people, for black power. At the same time that all this shit, as a matter of fact, I would suspect that part of the agenda of that feminist movement was to break that shit up. Just like the whole idea was to break up the black family.
Okay, y'all are delusional. Y'all are delusional. Y'all are delusional. And the reason that you're delusional is because you're taking the time period and you're trying to separate it and put it in modern times. Listen,
no, you trying to make it modern times.
I'm not. I'm trying to put you in that period. Women was getting abused. Women was getting mistreated. The men was running around cheating and beating on fucking women.
They doing that today. They always been doing it.
Well, they still need to be fucking protesting then. But the men was running around, even including black men, trying to copy white society and mistreat women, have them at home, pregnant and barefoot. Didn't allow them to go out the house and work. ABC, you live in a situation right now where you motherfucker, shut up.
You pushing talking points. You pushing agenda talking points. And you pushing it to black people, man. Why are you doing that shit? People are people. There were some husbands that got drunk and beat their wives, but nigga, that wasn't everybody. You act like that's the majority of marriages. They was all abusing their wives.
It was ABC.
Nigga, you wasn't even around then. How old are you? Like 50 something?
Listen, I had uncles and I had uncles.
Nigga, I got uncles too.
I had uncles when I was a child. I had uncles and family members, and that's all they did was run up and down. Listen, nigga, all they did was run up and down the road.
Y'all was down there abused by the white man and shit.
All they did was run up and down the road and chase women and drink liquor. That's all the fuck they did, ABC. So I don't know what the hell you talking about.
Don't nobody care about what your people was doing. We talking about the masses of black people.
Everybody did that shit, ABC.
No, they wouldn't. Quit putting that on all black people.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Y'all got some damn issues. I don't know what the fuck y'all living. But anyway, those movements that those women stood for was a sign of the time. And they actually helped usher in the feminist movement and actually push women's equality ahead. So y'all hating on the
Yeah,
women.
now
Don't make
women
no
are the
damn
head
sense.
of the house, so you should be happy. Ain't no daddies there, but at least the women are the head of the house, so you should be
Okay,
real happy.
well let's talk
Yeah,
about where the
but
daddy's
hold on
at.
a second.
Where the daddy's at?
That's the
ABC.
feminist agenda.
Where's the daddy at?
Hold on a
ABC.
second.
Where the daddy?
They was always chasing women, right? Now they really chasing because the women half naked out here. Y'all okay with it?
Oh.
So they just hitting it everywhere. And plus
Boy,
they
you
got
really
technology.
got
They got Tinder and all this shit. So they just dial up, DM some girl and get some
Why are
ass.
you worried about other people relationships?
No, you just said where the daddy at? You making a big deal like, hey, well, it's the man's fault. Well, shit, these women showing everything. They giving it up. So guys are like, well, shit, I'll wait till I'm 50 to get married.
Where are the daddies at, ABC?
They out there getting all this ass. They ain't trying to get tied down because all the women giving it up.
So is that okay?
I ain't saying it's okay, but I'm saying the women putting it out there, they half naked, they give up the ass on the first or second date and shit. So guys just hitting everything. Why you think one guy got 5 baby mamas and shit?
Why is that, ABC? Answer that.
Because all these women giving it up. He can't settle down. He like, well,
So
shit,
basically,
I ain't trying to
you're
give up
just
nothing.
saying because the women is giving it up, the men is taking advantage of it, right?
I'm saying that that's a big part of it.
I'm just asking you a question. I'm trying to go along with your line of thinking. Women,
I'm saying that's a big part
is
of
that
it.
what you're saying?
1 second, ABC.
No, it ain't no 1 second. I want to finish talking to ABC, damn it. Is that what you're saying, ABC?
No, wait a minute, Tyrone.
No, motherfucker, you gonna listen. Is that what you're saying? Because what the fuck you guys are saying, shut up. What you guys are saying is the same shit that I'm saying about these undisciplined, sorry ass black men running out there trying to stick every goddamn
you trying
thing
to ignore
that's moving,
biology.
making
You
babies,
trying to ignore biology.
not taking care of their
That's
damn
why you support that
responsibility,
transgender shit.
That's what
we
the
talking
fuck
about
you
biology.
saying.
Men want women, nigga. We want pussy. That's
See,
what it is.
Hey, Tyrone, but listen, Tyrone,
listen,
there's only a certain section of black men. There's only a certain section of black men who's actually having most of the children, bro.
Not according to ABC. Not according to ABC. ABC saying they're trying to stick everything.
49% of, hold on 1 second, ABC. 49% of black men don't have children, bro. So what are you saying?
That's what ABC said. ABC said they trying to stick everything, Joshua. That's what he just said.
No, but I'm saying, no, this is me, Joshua. I'm not ABC. 49% of black men are single with no children.
49% of black men are single with no children?
With no children. Exactly.
So what the fuck are we complaining about then?
Boy, you're complaining?
I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you how terrible black men are. I'm just telling you that black men ain't shit.
Why would you say how terrible black men
because
are?
They ain't shit, man? ABC. You know
ain't
they
you
ain't
a black
shit.
Man?
Yeah,
Ain't you a black
ain't
man?
Shit. Black men
ain't you
shit.
a black man?
I am. I'm not saying all black men. I'm not saying.
So you ain't shit.
I'm
You
not
ain't shit
saying.
is what you saying.
I'm not saying.
You saying
all,
I ain't shit.
I'm not saying all black men. Of course, I am.
I think
well, what you talking about? When you said black men.
I think Joe was
because
trying to say
we
something.
okay. Let's get this straight. Sometimes
you guys are getting this stuff
shut
so
up.
wrong.
Listen,
Look.
let's get it straight. Sometimes we speak in generalizations and we're not meaning
Right.
all. Okay. But the motherfuckers that I'm talking about that I actually out here arguing about child support and then they made 20 goddamn youngins, them the motherfuckers I'm talking about. The ones that I'm talking about is the ones that you said run around sticking every damn body. Those are the people that I'm talking about. They ain't shit.
No, you can't put that on all men.
We
want sex, man. You trying to deny biology and shit.
What's biology, ABC?
Look. Let me put a little historical
sex is part of biology.
around it.
So
we get
sex
a hard
is biology,
on.
so it's okay for men to run around and stick everybody then.
Yeah.
I ain't even saying it's okay. I'm just saying it's natural that we have that desire. And if women are dressing half naked and giving it up on the first or second date, we just going, it's like going to a buffet.
Okay, I go with your line of thinking.
Stop.
Okay, I go with your line of thinking. If women are giving it up on the first date, then it's natural, right? So now let's flip that mindset. What if women see men that are attractive and they want to go stick everybody too?
Then they get stuck with a baby and name a baby mama.
y'all ass is crazy as shit. There's something wrong with every damn one of y'all motherfuckers.
No, it's not, Tyrone.
We ain't the same, man. That's what I'm saying. You keep trying to deny biology and shit. Men and women are not the same.
So there goes. Let me open this line here. Hey, what's up, Sister Ottawa?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make one comment. You were talking about the feminist movement, which was offshoot of the women's suffrage. And when the women's suffrage movement was moving forward, Sojourner Truth, I don't know if you've ever heard her speech, where she spoke about "Ain't I a Woman?" She spoke about racism. And the suffrage movement really didn't address racism. They were white supremacist women, and so was this Gloria Steinem. She was a racist. The feminist movement was not black women primarily. Their issues were different from black women. So I just wanted to bring that to the fore because the feminists didn't speak for black women at all, and neither did the women's suffrage movement.
But don't you think those movements had roots in society to where there was something that wasn't equal between the man and the woman? They were complaining about something,
That's what
right?
I've been trying to tell you guys. Good Lord.
We're talking about a racist female and a racist man, white man. Two white folks upholding their culture, which is white supremacy.
Right.
Period.
But I'm saying, don't you think that you had to come out of that time period with some type of movements or something, right? Or otherwise we'll still be there, right?
Who would still be there?
The women would still be in a certain position in society, and men would still be ruling over them the way they used to be.
Well, don't you think they still ruling? They're determining whether women can have rights over their bodies today.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not like it was.
We still have those same issues.
But it's not like it was.
Those issues haven't gone anywhere. The same issues exist.
But it's not like it was. Don't you think there's more freedom because women push for more access to different things?
No.
You don't?
If I can't control my body, I have a man telling me what's going on with my body during my gestation period of creation. I have a man telling me what to do with my body and what I can and can't do with it. That's
I get your point. I get your point. But the way ABC and Joshua is thinking that those movements wasn't, because you're right, men still do control women, and that's what I was trying to explain to them. Is back in the day they controlled them even more, in my opinion. But now they still do control women, making laws and stuff about body autonomy and all that kind of stuff. So you're right.
Yeah, but Tyrone, stop it. Now those laws are not made of black men, so let's stop that. Come on, Tyrone.
But they're
hold on. But look, what I've been trying to tell you guys,
black man
for
is
the
not
woman.
speaking like that.
But I'm still. It affects black people. What's up, Jill?
I've been trying to tell you for the longest, regardless of the interactions between black people, there was still a society where women couldn't get a credit card. Women couldn't buy a car. They couldn't own property easily. They had to jump through a lot of hoops to do that. The society was structured around the dominance of men. So regardless of what happened in a black home, you still walked out into a society that was dominated by men. There's certain jobs women would not get hired for. They were relegated in the office, mainly to secretarial positions, stuff like that. They weren't getting paid on an equitable basis as men were. On and on and on. There's a whole long laundry list of stuff that was going on at that time.
But and what surprises me is ABC says he still lives that way, and he's trying to argue with me. So I don't get
we're
it.
Not talking.
Well, let me answer
We're not
that.
talking about a woman. We're not talking about a woman staying home and a man working. We're talking about society at large that had men in a dominant role. So that umbrella.
But Joe,
Well, let ABC respond. And Miss Lady said that she's trying to get in there. Go ahead, ABC.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just
I said earlier.
I agree
I
with
said
Joe.
earlier that it's always been that way, and it's gonna stay that way. Men are gonna be in charge, and it ain't about men are better than none. Again. It's damn it, it's biology. It's just gonna happen. Now, women can control men easily, and they do it all the time with their sex. But also, when you married, and yes, your partner, you listen to her and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line, Joe just pointed out, he been trying to tell us all this time, he's trying to get in there to tell us that men were dominating back there, men were controlling back there. And that's what I said. Yeah, the shit didn't happen in a vacuum. The system has been the system, but this idea where all of a sudden all women are so oppressed that we need this big revolution and women walk around with their titties hanging out talking about, freedom and shit. They got to take off their shirt and show their titties because it's freedom and the sex revolution. It was also drugs.
No,
It was also
you misunderstand
Vietnam.
what
The
that was
shit
about.
Hold on.
it don't happen in a vacuum.
Hold on, listen. I'm gonna let
Oh
Miss
my
Lady.
goodness.
Hold on. I'm gonna let Miss Lady talk. But listen, ABC. Every time you open your mouth, you proves my goddamn point. You sound like a fucking Neanderthal. There's something wrong with you. But go ahead, Miss
No,
Lady.
man. Hey, but
He
real
doesn't
talk. You the
understand.
one, man. This is some
He doesn't
bullshit. You
understand
spreading
how
bullshit,
backwards
Tyrone.
he sounds. He really doesn't get it, how backward he sounds. I mean, we're talking about structures that were put in place, and he's talking about women showing their breasts. I mean, there's a big difference between a woman showing their
That ain't
breasts.
part of the structure.
Hold on, let her get it out,
And
ABC.
hold on, and a woman not being able, like Joe said, to have a credit card in her name. She wasn't able to get her tubes tied, even though she had 6 kids, unless her husband okayed that and consented to that. She couldn't go out and buy property in her name. She couldn't have credit cards in her name. There was real control of women, and this is what the white male patriarchy is trying to do by taking away a woman's right to do with her body what she wants to. And you see these black male wannabe patriarchs jumping on board. But see,
Okay,
they are still going to be black to the day they die. They will never have the power and the privileges of white men in this society. And so keep trying to push your black woman back, back to the fireplace.
See, that's the problem right there.
Stir the big pot,
Let her
wear
get
the
it
long
out.
apron. That's not going to happen.
So I guess our
One
normal
second.
African tradition is that the women are running the house and the men are listening to all
One
the women.
second. Let me say this. Black men, most black men do not agree with the patriarchal white male. So we
That's a
gotta stop
lie.
saying
That is
stuff.
a lie. That is a lie.
Tyrone, stop it.
That
Tyrone,
is a lie.
You and I know, Tyrone,
right.
you and I know that most black men do not praise the patriarch of the white male. Come
Okay,
on,
well,
Tyrone.
ask that black man that's on the phone right now. Do he agree with it?
Tyrone,
No,
Tyrone,
he's
I'm
right,
not talking about
Tyrone.
ABC. Tyree, the majority of black men do not uphold the white patriarchy.
Bullshit.
And we know that.
Bullshit.
Tyrone,
Bullshit. That
He's
is
right,
bullshit.
It doesn't matter.
You're right.
It doesn't matter if they did or not.
Was
black man, hold on a second. Ain't no black man. Hey, let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
Ain't
Go
no
ahead. Finish your
black
point.
man uphold.
Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point. 'Cause I'm finna prove him wrong. Go ahead.
No, ain't no black man. Most black men do not uphold the white patriarchy. They do not, because in his white patriarchy, it's hell for black men. They don't support that. They don't support that.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me just say something right quick.
Hold on a second.
In terms of black men being fathers, it's said by the time they're in their 40s, 81% of men have fathered children.
Okay, listen what I'm saying. This is my point again.
81% of black men have fathered children by the time they get
Tyrone, you
in
let
their
her cut me
40s.
off, bro. And again,
I'm not
I understand.
Statement.
Right,
You
yeah.
said
But your statement,
of black men having fathered the children, and I'm saying by the time they're in their 40s, 81% of them have fathered a child.
Okay, look, listen to what I'm saying. Hold on, listen. Right, they're married. So again, hater of black men.
I think most of them are married.
Okay,
no, they
so
aren't.
I'm saying this. I'm saying this again. White patriarchy is not for black men. Period. Now, there are some black men who try to play the game, but for the most part, black men don't play that game with white men. But black men say, man, this is your shit. That ain't my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just in it to try to shoot you.
Okay, but let me say this. You didn't say that.
Play with their black women. That's the point.
Let me say this.
No. Stop it. All men in all societies have social issues with their women. Not just black men, goddammit.
Okay, listen, let me say this right here. You, ABC, and other black men have actually been kind of understanding about the red pill movement, which is white patriarchy. You guys have came on here years ago. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, nigga. I'm talking.
Tyrone.
Shut the fuck up, nigga. I'm talking.
Tyrone,
listen,
you just had a black woman come on
I am talking.
Tyrone,
I allowed you to speak. You are not allowing me to speak. Now, y'all have came on here. Y'all have came on here years ago talking about why women ain't being submissive to black men. Y'all had these shut the fuck up. That's white male patriarchy. Y'all, why? And then y'all came on here talking about men marrying multiple women. Y'all said that shit. This is what the fuck y'all was saying. Y'all came on here promoting Kevin Samuels. All of that red pill Kevin Samuel. That's white male patriarchy. All day fucking long. And whenever you saying black men don't support that shit, who the fuck is their audience? It's just you niggas. That's who the fuck pushing that shit about being submissive. God damn it, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. It's y'all coming on here. A woman should be in their place and all this kind of bullshit. That's white
I never said that, Tyrone.
I
never said that.
Bullshit.
No, nobody said that shit. Tyrone keeps saying it.
You just said it, ABC. ABC, out of your mouth, you said men are in charge and that's the way nature is. You just said that no more than 5 minutes.
Men have always been in charge in every country and every culture. And it's always been that. And it's got to do with biology. We're bigger and stronger.
Don't tell me what the hell I'm talking about. I know what
Tyrone,
I'm talking about.
hold on. Hey, Tyrone. You just had a black woman by the name of Sister Ottawa that come on and made it plain and clear to you. Period. And you still come up with the same idea, really? And she was back in that movement. She was back then.
What are you talking about?
So Tyrone, no, you just had Sister Ottawa just came on, and she made it plain as clear to you as possible. She said the feminist movement was a movement based to maintain the system of white supremacy. That's what it was all about. It was all a trick. It was all a plan. It was all a plan to make sure that black men and women was to split and fight over things that white women was fighting over her white man. That was between the white man and her white man. That had nothing to do with the black man and the black woman. Had nothing. And Sister
According
Owl
to Tyrone, we was beating our women. That's why it happened.
Yeah. And Sister Owl was trying to explain that to you, and she made it clear as possible, and you went on again.
Okay, well listen. Okay, hold on. You're combining two different things. She was talking about something else, and you made a comment that black men don't have shit to do with white male patriarchy, and I said that's a motherfucking lie. Those are two different things.
Right, and guess what, Tyrone? Kevin Samuel was only trying to get us to think a little different so we can get along with each other.
Using white male patriarchy.
Hold on, Tyrone. Let me finish. Tyrone was the only thing that he was trying to get to black women. If you want a high value man, these are things that you should be doing to get the high value. If you're not getting
white male patriarchy, that's what he was using.
No, that has nothing to do with white men. But he said had nothing to do with white men. Nothing at all.
Get the fuck out of here.
He was trying to give some advice to black women who kept asking him for advice, and he kept telling them, saying, look, y'all, if y'all want these type of men, this is what you got to do. His issue, Tyrone, really was this. He said black women who got children should marry with black men that got children. Black women who don't have children should marry black men who don't have children. That's plain what he said.
Okay, whatever.
That's what he said.
I don't know. You're delusional. I don't know what to tell you about that.
Patriarchy? That's white patriarchy, really?
The perfume on himself.
That was white patriarchy? Really?
Yes. Yes.
That wasn't white patriarchy, Tyrone.
Yes, it was.
Oh, my gosh, Tyrone. Bro, come on, Tyrone. Come on. Bro, I know
Tyrone a feminist. Tyrone is a feminist.
I don't give a fuck what you call me. I know that you motherfuckers live in the goddamn caveman time. and y'all can't get with the damn modern
Yeah,
time.
you so enlightened. You so enlightened.
I am.
All you do is push women to be the leaders of the universe and shit. Nigga, we two halves of a whole.
Well, let me tell you, this universe is
All you
fucked up
do is
being led
down
by
men
men right
and
now.
big up
Look
women.
at what
You
the
praise.
leaders.
You
Look
one
at
of
what
those
the
guys
men are
that
doing right now. The
believe
men,
all women and all that stupid
the
shit.
men are creating
You push that
concentration
kind of shit.
camps and starving fucking babies. What the fuck? Yeah, maybe the women do need to take over.
Yeah, you a feminist. I knew you was man. Something wrong with you, man.
You can call me
Your
whatever the
biology.
fuck
You
you
sure
want
you
to
ain't
call me.
transgender and shit? You must be transgender.
You can call me
You was
whatever the
born to be
fuck
a
you want to
woman,
call me.
but you ended up with male parts and shit.
You can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me. But yeah, maybe women do need to take over. I don't know what the hell wrong with you niggas. Y'all the one talking about women should be submissive and listen and be in the...
is in the position in the White House.
Do what?
It would be a much better place if I think Kamala was in the White House.
Oh yeah, it'd be we wouldn't be going to war. They won't be taking
That's
fucking
that feminine shit.
They wouldn't be taking fucking
That lady's a moron. She don't represent women good at all, especially black women. She especially don't represent black women well.
How the hell you know?
You're even more
Because
moronic.
I watch TV like everybody else and shit. I done heard her speak like everybody else. She don't know what she's talking about.
Can you sound moronic at times?
Yeah, but I ain't running for a president of the United States, and I wasn't a vice president, and I wasn't an attorney general. I didn't have all these positions. I wasn't a senator.
You are not.
Yeah. I never had those positions, so I can be a moron. But she had those positions, and she's a moron.
I don't think she's a moron at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you have different standards for her than you do for every other white man, black man.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
You know, other folks can say all kinds of stuff like I could stand in Manhattan and shoot somebody and it'll be fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's stupid to say that. But he's a billionaire running a billionaire company. He got more smarts than some dumb lady that comes on and can't put two sentences together without it being edited and shit.
That's moronic.
Yeah.
Go ahead. ABC is a fucking zombie.
Yeah, you can put some teeth behind your words by giving the ladies a Saturday show. What the fuck does ABC care? You ain't paying for it anyway.
Well, there you go, Tyrone. That's what some of your male listeners like Joe Gay Bone. You know.
Yeah, call me Gay Bone, but what the fuck? You ain't paying for the shit anyway. You get a free spot, give it to the ladies. Let them do their thing. See if they can get more than 3 calls.
There's 5 other nights a week. Why they got to do Saturday night? Jerry don't do Sundays.
Why? Because it's the ladies. Hey, the ladies are empowered. Let them take your spot. You ain't got
you're another one of these feminists. Believe all women and all that shit. You know, this is how silly y'all sound, you and Tyrone. Y'all think y'all sound enlightened or educated some shit, but you sound stupid as hell. You just pushing an agenda. Believe all women. The women need to do this. The women is the best. You a man.
You
don't stand on your square. You too busy
fact
praising
that I just
women
don't
and shit.
fucking like you.
Ain't nobody saying women are bad. Shit, we need women. We two halves of a whole. But according to y'all niggas, y'all feminists. And the reason that the community is in the condition it's in is because of you and Tyrone. Niggas like you that push feminism.
Women are needed. You agree. Then let them have a Saturday show. And you can take another day, maybe like Monday.
No, they can take another day. How about that? Why I gotta switch up what I'm doing? I ain't the feminist. You the feminist. You trying to push them. Why don't y'all give them Thursday show?
No.
You a feminist. You want to take from a man and give to a woman. Women can't stand on their own, so we need to take it from the man and give it to him, according to you.
No. Take it from you. There's a difference.
Well, why you got to take it from me? I ain't nobody, right? I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm full of shit.
So you were in agreement.
Why you got to take the women?
You heard it, Tyrone.
Why you got to take my show?
The man just said he ain't nobody. He don't care. Get the
and it's Friday night. What's up with Friday night?
I work on Friday night, nigga. Y'all ain't gonna take my goddamn. Take my damn money.
You have to say when when the rubber meets the road, motherfuckers start to scramble and shit. Yeah,
But nah,
women are needed. They're the other half. Fine.
y'all so hooked on tradition and all this kind of stuff, and you don't want to move forward.
Tyrone's not about tradition.
Okay, so what? Listen, this is a problem. Is every time I say two words, I don't care who on the phone, somebody got to cut me the fuck off. I don't understand that. I thought it was a Sarge thing, but I'm finding out tonight it ain't no Sarge thing. It's whenever I talk, people got to talk at the same
It's
time.
the sound of your voice, man. Your voice sounds.
Is that what
really,
it is? Y'all don't like this country accent?
Exactly.
Well, shut the fuck up. And listen, damn it. Y'all so stuck in y'all damn white male patriarchy mindset, and you want to hold on to tradition the way things used to be. Y'all are totally missing that the world is moving forward. Society is changing. People are becoming more equal, huh?
Real talk, and I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but you know, you say that like the world is moving forward. That's tradition. So what that sounds like is that everything in the past is dead and gone and are bad, and everything now is good. That's what it sounds like, which is insane.
Okay, to you, it's insane. But whenever
Why
you're
would you
looking at
throw out everything from the past?
whenever you're looking at progress and whenever you're looking at being progressive and moving forward, I'm not saying things in the past are bad. You learn from your past, but you can't hold on to your past and continue to use your past like it's the present. ABC, you're on a cell phone right now. If you wanted to hold on to your goddamn past, you would be using a rotary phone. But you don't. You're able to move forward, nigga. Do you understand that?
I said everything. You know, you can. That's a good example of some of what you're trying to say. But I'm saying you say it like that's the past, or tradition is bad. The past is bad, nigga. You still carry stuff from when you was a kid. You still do some stuff you did. You still make the same recipes or some shit that you ate when you was a kid.
I didn't say that.
Everything don't
when
change.
It comes,
and relationships don't change. Biology don't change.
You are the one that want to make relationships stay in the 1920s. And relationships.
What are they supposed to be? What are they supposed to be, man?
They're supposed to move to the goddamn 20th century, motherfucker.
Relationships. A man is still a man. He got a penis and he got more testosterone. And she's still a woman. She can have babies and she got more estrogen.
Relationships has
what difference does it make if it's 100 years from now?
Relationships have evolved just like everything else in the world has evolved. You can't keep your goddamn wife in the house barefoot and pregnant like you used to in the goddamn. You just can't do that.
But hold on, man. Let's try to. I'm trying to ask a serious question. Biology doesn't change. We still have all this testosterone. We still men. We strong and also women still have babies. They got all this estrogen. So you saying because something happened in the past, like they used to have 10 kids or something, and that's old school. Now they shouldn't have kids. Now they should get abortions, or now they should only have one kid. You know, you making it sound like this is progress, and that was bad.
Okay, ABC, listen.
It's nature.
Seriously. Every time you speak, I can literally hear the brain fucking neurons jumping out of your goddamn head. None of what you just said makes any motherfucking sense. What I'm trying to tell you is that you want to hold on to the way the relationship used to be in the 1920s. That's what you want to do. You come on here plenty of times and told us about your fucking fantasy nuclear family. But that ain't the way the world is any goddamn more. Women are out here on their own with their own careers, building their own fucking lives. It's just a fact. And they're making more money than men in some cases. And they're making their own way in the goddamn world. And somehow or another, you need to fucking come to terms with that's the existence of the world that we live in today. This just is. There's nothing you can do to change that. But you instead of accepting it, you want to criticize it and say that we should be the way we was, and that's just not reality.
Okay, so here's a simple question. This should end it right here. As far as for me, I won't mess with you anymore. Are you saying that our communities are in better shape today than they were 50 years ago?
I'm not saying that at all. That's you saying that. I don't know what the hell
That's
you
just a
talking.
question. I'm asking a question because I'm trying to understand. Because we were talking about this, that's a tradition, that's old school, and this is progress and all this stuff. So it sounds like you're trying to shit on everything from the past. That's why I asked the question. I'm asking, are you saying
I'm
that our
not saying
community is in better
that is
condition?
not the angle of my comment. You want that
Okay.
you wanting to use that example about how what to shape the communities in and all that kind of stuff. Listen,
Well, do you think that that's a significant part of this whole the tradition is bad and all that kind of shit? I think the condition of the
well,
community is something to consider when we talk about, if all the stuff in the
okay.
past was bad or
Well, if you want to talk about community, then we'll have to talk about politics. See, and that's why I wasn't talking that way, because if you want to talk about community, you got to talk about the government and what they're doing to these goddamn communities, the resources that they're sucking out of these communities. You got to talk about all of that shit. It ain't got nothing. It's got more to do than just the
and you
man and
can
the
talk
woman.
about that. I'm good with that, but
Well,
you still got to talk about
but
how
what I'm
we
trying to
reacting
tell
to it,
you, what
what
I'm
we
trying to
doing.
tell your dumbass is that it's got more to do than just the man and the woman when you're talking about the shape that the community's in. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but I think half of the issue is how we react to all this different shit they do. The government always doing shit.
No,
So the
let me
question is,
see.
how do we
Okay, so
react
so
to it?
for instance, the farming community in America went under fucking water when Trump enacted his first tariffs. The government stepped in and they gave the farming community subsidies so those communities can do better financially. Do you understand where I'm coming from now? So they was losing their fucking farms. They was losing money. The fucking tariffs ate their fucking goddamn crops up or whatever. They weren't able to ship them out of the damn country. So the government had to come in and subsidize those fucking farmers so the families can do better in that community. What I'm trying to tell you, if you want to talk about the conditions of our community, you're gonna have to look at the economics in our community, the access to resources, and what the government should do to better this community. It ain't got shit to do with mother and father and all that kind of bullshit. It just don't.
Okay,
Well,
so you just
Tyrone, you got
said
to
we got to
add
look
in
at the
this.
government and the
Hold on, you got
resources
to
they
add
give
in
us
this.
and all this stuff. We know that
Yeah.
we can't count on the government. We can push them and all this stuff, but we know that traditionally they ain't been giving us what we need. So the question again is, how do we react? And as a
Okay.
community, how do we react? As a family, how do we react?
Well, if you want
But
to
you
talk about
never
how do
want to
we
talk about
react
that.
to
You
try
just
to
want to
get
talk.
those
Yeah.
resources, we're gonna have to get more politically motivated. That's an easy answer. But what you're trying to
Yeah.
do, is put all the weight of how the condition of the community is. You're trying to put that all on the family structure, and that's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not fucking
Well, I ain't saying it's
reality.
everything, but it's a big ass part. It's the majority part
No,
because
it's
you
not.
can't change
ABC,
what the
ABC.
world, man.
Hold on. ABC, hold on. 50 years ago, my father could pretty much guarantee he could work at a job that would pay him a pension at his retirement, that he could work to retirement, all right? That they could afford, my mother and father could afford a home in their early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. The conditions for family back then are different than now. Now, none of those things are in place. None of those things are in
I
place.
accept that.
So how do you expect the
I
family
accept
to
what you're
react to
saying.
that?
So this is my point: is whatever is going on, the question is how we react to it. And a
Right.
lot of people are reacting with both of them working. Okay, so that's how they doing it. That's cool. So then the kids are going to daycare. Okay, all right, all right. But before grandma or grandpa could watch them or something, or the neighbors or something, and maybe that's still happening in some places. But I'm just saying we choose how we react to this stuff. So
Yes and
far,
no. To a
as
degree,
far as
yes
our
and no.
choices, if the community, if we're lacking in the community, then we need to look at the choices we've been making and make some adjustments. If we think everything is good in the community, then it's all good.
See, you got a
No, I
fucking
don't agree with you
you got
there.
an antiquated way of looking at shit, man, and it's more complicated than that.
What are you talking about?
Because you're
Antiquated,
putting,
man.
like I said, you're putting all the weight of how a community is on the fucking mother father. That is just not fucking the reality nowadays. That is not it. That is not it.
Oh, hey, Joe, let me ask you a question, Joe. Now, let me ask you. Now,
Yeah.
Tyrone accused me of being part of the white patriarchy. Now, knowing me for some years, on the phone. You never met me in person. Do I represent the white male patriarchy? Now tell the truth.
I think you're a white guy. Yeah, sure.
You know,
so I didn't accuse you of being the white patriarchy, but the way you look at relationships, Joshua, that is fucking white patriarchy. You do think listen, you do think women supposed to be submissive, do you not?
No, I don't.
Why you keep bringing up all this submissive shit?
No, I don't. I don't. I think women should agree and be cooperative, but I don't think they should have to submit.
Joshua, you said this out of your mouth, nigga. I'm sorry for calling you nigga, but you said this out of your mouth, Joshua.
Tyrone.
Yeah.
I've never said a woman should submit. I said what?
A woman should
God. Cooperate.
Yeah, but
Tyrone. I've always said that, Tyrone.
Joshua,
let me just say
you
this,
have said a woman should submit.
Okay, well, 1 second. Go ahead, Joe. What you say, Joe?
Yeah. I want you to listen to this very clearly, all right? All of us on the phone right now are the children of white patriarchy. Because whether you subscribe to it or not, that is the way the society was designed, right? Now, probably me and ABC more so than you because we're older than you. But understand that our parents operated under that society. Whether they practice it at home or not is irrelevant. When they stepped out the door, this is the way life was. Women took a deference to men. So, I hear you say, well, black men didn't do. That's great. But when they walked out the door, the world around them reflected that. So, like it or not, we are all the children of that. Now, it's up to us to make changes and to change society as a whole so that the next generation doesn't have to operate under that. So yes, my friend, you, me, Tyrone, ABC are the children of white patriarchy. There's no getting around that.
Well, I agree with that. And it's
when will we not?
Hold on. Let me finish. I agree with Joe. Wait a minute. I agree with Joe.
You don't let me say shit.
Oh, hey, what's up, Sarge? Hold on for a second. I agree with.
You say something or not?
When I get finished, when I get finished, I agree with Joe.
You always talk about how I interrupt your ass, goddammit.
Well, you interrupted now. Let me just say this right here. I agree with Joe, and Joe is absolutely right. But it's up to us as an individual like me to recognize that and change it, But go ahead, Sarge.
That's what I just told your dumb ass.
Thank you, sir. I'll be quick and I'll be gone. I'll be quick and I'll be gone. I'll be quick and I'll be gone. Because you mute me too goddamn much anyway, so ain't no point me trying to stick around. But I'll put the shit in the chat room the way I feel. I just want to emphasize to you why I feel this way, because I damn sure do. First of all, I hear these simple-minded critiques of patriarchy, and I do believe they're largely simple-minded, because the most universal societal institution in the world is patriarchy and all its variations and permutations worldwide. It's not just Western white patriarchy. It is universal throughout the world in one form or another. And Laron here seems to think there's something wrong with it. That humanity is stupid for universally adopting it. Now, patriarchy is the norm worldwide because of all human institutions. It conforms best to the individual, unique human talents of men and women, and it takes into account the relatively short reproductive lives of women to build civilization. That does not mean it's perfect. It is not. It just happens to be the best method for human advancement and civilization. Now, our current problems with what I call left feminism is a direct result of the success of the patriarchy. The patriarchy delivered the philosophical concepts, especially in the West, that enabled left feminism, such as the objective rule of law and the concept of equal treatment under the law. If you ask me, left feminism, which is what we're talking about here more than anything else, is a first world problem of the posterity that has been enabled by the patriarchy. Now, goddammit, if you got a significant argument against that, you better motherfucking make it, because I ain't sticking around from you muting me and giving me some stupid fucking insult.
Well, what I want to say, as far as what Joe said, I disagree with Joe. I don't think I have a bit of bone of patriarchy in me. I think I'm anti-white male patriarchy because I know the system. I understand the system of white supremacy. So it's no way that that's a part of it. Okay, I think I'm more matriarchal than anything else. I'm probably more matriarchy than anybody on this goddamn phone. So no, I'm not. I don't agree with patriarchy. I don't agree with white male patriarchy. You know, it's something that it's something that Farrakhan used to say. A white man's heaven is the black man's hell. So the white man's patriarchy is sure to hell the black man's hell because it has nothing to do with black men. We don't even know what it would be like if black men ruled America. We don't know what it would be like. We don't even know what it would be like. So
you missed everything I said.
No. I didn't miss everything you said. You didn't answer my question. I said, do I represent patriarchy? The thing that you should have said was, no, you don't.
To a degree, you do, because you're a child.
Every society in the world has a form of patriarchy. Now, it differs, of course. African society is a bit more matrilineal in some respects than, say, European patriarchy, but God damn it, everywhere patriarchy reigns. The Mongols had it, the Japanese had it, the Asians had it, the Indians had it, the American Indians had it, the Aztecs had it. There wasn't anybody. The Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, everybody had patriarchy.
All right, so
it's a white male European concept. It is not.
It is.
That's their brainwashing, Sarge. That's their brainwashing.
White males have a form of it, just like Mongols had a form of it. It is distinct to their particular culture and civilization. It is still patriarchy.
Okay, so shut up. Shut up. Okay, God damn it.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm Tyrone talking.
Let me ask you 1 second, Tyrone.
You always want 1 damn second.
Hold on a second.
Patriarchy, would you tell me? Who didn't have it?
Sarge, listen to what I'm saying. Knowing me on this phone, Sarge, can you listen? Can you listen?
No, because you don't answer my question. Who did patriarchy?
Do I represent white patriarchy? Yes or no?
Do what?
Do I represent white patriarchy?
I don't know if you do. I would suspect you bridle at being accused of it. That's what I know. I don't know if you actually do or not, but it sounds to me like you hate it in every possible permutation and guise.
Thank you, Sarge. Thank you, Sarge. Thanks for being honest.
Look, I believe in objective analysis. I think telling that more than anything else. That's what I'm saying. I want you to tell me what civilization world of any note has had anything but patriarchy. Would you please tell me one? I'm waiting. Okay. I'll wait until I get an answer.
Listen. I'm not saying that patriarchy don't exist throughout the world and it don't.
Wait now all the goddamn time, like it's something unusual.
Okay. Well, see now this is why you get muted right here. Because I started talking. And you wouldn't shut the fuck up. I started talking and you wouldn't shut the fuck up. That's why you get
a point. That's what.
Motherfucker. See, this is why you get muted. This is exactly why you get muted.
I get muted. Because I'm trying to keep your ass straight.
Oh, golly. I'm not saying that.
Well, let me just ask the question.
Nigga, I haven't seen. You can't focus.
I can't focus with some screaming biddy in the background yelling. Go ahead, Sister Ottawa.
What does the 4th of July, Independence Day, mean to you? And that's to anybody on the line.
It don't mean shit to me.
Cool, I got to answer that one.
It don't mean shit to me.
Anti-Wrong for the first thing. That's one thing. But the main thing is really different, though. Objectively, there's a reason for me to celebrate the 4th of July because the first nation on Earth, mind you, that did not develop organically out of the culture of many people either getting together or conquering each other or whatever. The first one founded on ideas and principles came into being. The first one founded on transcendent objective truth, no matter how imperfectly the creation of the country was realized. The principles for it were unknown before and in most respects since. That's the reason I celebrate the 4th of July. Not because we're perfect, because we ain't never going to be. Because we came up with these concepts here and nowhere else did they do it and then create a nation based on them. Yeah.
Well, the 4th of July, to me, again, it it doesn't mean very much to me in a sense, because again, to me, it still represents the white patriarchy. It represents white men celebrating their independence. It had nothing to do with me. I mean, unless I'm incorrect on that, but as what I know, it has nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with the slaves. It had nothing to do with the Africans who was born here. It had nothing to do with none of that. So
it didn't have nothing to do with Sarge either. It didn't have nothing to do with Sarge either, but he proud of it.
Yeah, and that's what I got to say, Sister Ottawa.
Nigga, you better speak for your own stupid ass, and don't you dare try to speak for me.
Listen, motherfucker, you should not be celebrating the 4th of July because your ancestors was locked up.
You don't tell me what to celebrate, motherfucker. You ain't never gonna get to tell me that.
Okay, this is why you dumb son of a bitch. Listen, this is why I mute you, because you don't never let me talk. You so stupid that you want to come on here and promote the 4th of July when you know historically that your ancestors was in motherfucking chains and was not free. And all this shit you talking about, the idea of the white man and freedom and all this kind of that shit did not apply to you, you fucking idiot. That motherfucking shit did not apply to you. So you got this long, drawn-out speech about why you love the goddamn 4th of July because this was the first country of ideas. Them ideas didn't belong to your dumb ass. You was locked the fuck up. Your ancestors was locked up, you dummy. This is why I call you a cultist, motherfucker, because you brainwashed. Jesus Christ.
Listen to that rambling shit you just said, you simple Simon bastard. You the motherfucker that rambles all goddamn day. You ain't got a coherent bone in your goddamn body. Let me tell you one goddamn thing, nigga. I ain't locked up. I advance and I espouse the principle of this country. Almost every other new nation that's been formed since, 1850 has adopted the United States Constitution. I don't give a damn whether it's the first world, second world, or the third world. They always look to the United States Constitution to adopt and the Declaration of Independence. So motherfuck you and your simple ass-minded critique of the founding fathers who are infinitely more brilliant in their big toe than you'll ever be in your whole goddamn fucked up life.
And it still didn't have shit to do with you. The founding of this country didn't have shit to do with you.
I don't care. Okay. The world don't revolve around me, nigga. Neither does it you.
It still didn't have shit to do with it. That's why you so dumb.
The United States was created.
We got it, Sarge. Okay, we got it, sir. It's just an hour. Did I answer the question?
Don't never get shit. He took
Wait a minute, Sarge. Stop.
I'm just trying for us to look at, this patriarchal system that we, dealing with. You talk about progress, but if you look at the condition of the people on the planet, I don't see progress. I see regression. Mm-hmm. And so I asked the question because we were talking about, this system of patriarchy. And tomorrow is this holiday, and I thought it was apropos, the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In relation to what we've been talking about,
Well, I gave the condensed version. There's one hell of a lot I like to say, but I don't like to hog the goddamn mic like some people around here. I got a hell of a lot more to say, though.
Well, like I said, that was a good question, my sister. And Joe, what is it to you, Joe? What does it mean to you, Joe? Where's Joe at? You always go hiding somewhere. Oh,
I'm here.
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? That's an interesting question, because I can see it both ways. You have the ability to criticize this government, to choose the life that you want to live, and to agree or disagree without fear of being jailed for it, killed for it, or imprisoned for it. And so, on the one hand, it's a good thing that we do live here where we can criticize, these things. Is it perfect? Yeah, I got to agree with Sarge on that. No, it's not perfect. But you do have the ability to make choices that are not available to people in other parts of the world. So, that's why a lot of them come here. But at the end of the day, you have to recognize the blood, and the sweat and the toil of our ancestors to reach this point. So I can see it both ways.
But where are we right now? right now, we're looking at laws coming into effect to take away, progress that has been made in this country to try to, even the playing field to some degree. But those things are being taken away. People are talking about right now that there's a possibility that citizens of this country, USA, can be deported, that they don't have any protection. So
you have to look at where those laws are coming from, right? In most places, those laws come from a king or authoritarian figure, and you don't have any choice in it. It is what it is. Here in America, we voted for this, all right? We voted for it. That's the key. So just like we voted it in, you can vote it out.
Are you sure that we voted for this?
Yeah. Or didn't vote for it.
Okay.
Yeah, most parts of the world, that authoritarian figure is, this is the way it's going to go, and that's it. There is no recourse. There is no do-over. There's none of that. There's no voting them out. There's no Congress. There's nobody to push back. So here, we do have the ability to vote. Now, whether you choose to value that vote or discount that vote, that's on you. But again, it's the ability to make that choice that makes the country what it is. So, I mean, if we don't like the laws, we can always vote and people to change those laws. We can always get together as people and collectivize our votes to make changes. So yeah, in that regard, yeah, that's a good thing.
We have a lot of voter suppression that is coming from outside of the voter. It's coming from the administration manipulating gerrymandering, or how they make the different voting districts, requiring that you have all this paperwork. Suppression of the vote is real. They say we have the right to vote, but they usurp the vote, and not just in this administration. This is my point of view. I feel that there was some tampering with the election for maybe going back to what? The first time was in 2000 when one of those Bushes was in Florida and they flipped the count some kind of way and put Bush in instead of this other guy. What was the other guy's name?
Gore. Okay, as a matter of fact, you are not legally allowed to renounce your citizenship. I'm saying legally. If you want to voluntarily renounce your United States citizenship, you are not, the United States will not let you renounce your citizenship unless you have another country lined up willing to accept you as a citizen. Why? Because they do not want you to be a stateless person. So I don't know where we're getting this stuff. We're going to start kidnapping natural-born American citizens and start deporting them. Yeah, I suppose somebody could do it, but I guarantee you, if they do it, it is illegal. And if they're discovered to have done it, they will be charged with kidnapping.
Donald Trump said that out of his fucking mouth. He was doing an interview, and I think it was with Marie Marla Barma, whatever her fucking name is from Fox, and she was asking him about the fucking concentration camps that he's sending people to, and he said that he was going to look at the criminals in this country, which are citizens. He didn't say migrants or aliens. He said he was going to look, and the really bad criminals that he would consider sending them to these other countries. Your goddamn president, the motherfucker you voted for, said that. That's why we're talking about it. You
He was
dumbass.
speaking of those naturalized citizens who misrepresented material facts on their application that would cause them to have been denied citizenship in the first place had they revealed them. Those are the citizens he's speaking of.
No, he was talking about American criminals. He did not say anything about migrants. He didn't say anything about naturalized citizens. He said criminals in America. And American citizens commit crimes. Those are the people that he was talking about deporting. Pay attention, motherfucker. What the hell wrong? Want me to find the fucking audio for you? Good Lord.
You need to pay attention, motherfucker. I use words to convey what I mean. I said natural-born citizen. No matter what a natural-born citizen does, you can't deport him. A naturalized citizen is a different matter. There are certain exceptions to allow their deportation
you're a dummy.
that
You're a
pre-existed
dummy.
Trump's being president. I
You're
don't
a
know what
dummy.
the fuck is wrong with you. What are you going to learn how to read, nigga?
You're
Don't read
a
the
dummy.
immigration statutes.
You're a dummy. I'm telling you what the
That's how
president
you just
said.
make shit up.
I didn't make shit up. I need to find that audio.
Yes, you did. And let me tell you what it says. I got the immigration law in front of me, you simple bastard.
No, I'm not talking about the law. I'm talking about what the president. I'm talking about what the president of the United States said out of his motherfucking mouth that he was going to deport American motherfucking citizens. But it ain't got shit to do with no law. It's what the fuck. He breaking the motherfucking law. He said that shit, Sarge. Well, I ain't gonna argue with you. You're just a dummy. I don't know what the fuck wrong with you.
I don't care if he said it. He's wrong if he said you can deport a natural-born U.S. citizen. I don't give a fuck what he said. You can't do it.
Well, that's what's happening.
You got so much faith in him making law. I don't. I'll
That's what-
call him out in a minute. I'll say, Mr. President, you might want to go look at the law and see you can't deport a natural-born citizen involuntarily.
Yes, he can.
Do it, Mr. President.
Yes, he
I don't give a
can.
fuck how much you say it.
All he has to do is round up a group of people, and since the Supreme Court gave him the authority to not fucking listen to those goddamn injunctions, put him on a goddamn bus and send him out the goddamn country.
There has to be
That's all the fuck.
deportation order.
That's all the fuck that he need to do, Sarge. I don't know what
They
the hell
have
wrong
to
with you.
have a deportation order from an immigration court judge.
Oh Jesus! You know what?
They just can't do it. They can't put them
my
there.
brain.
Now they falsify one, they commit a crime.
My
you
brain.
understand? It is possible for government agents to commit crimes.
My brain
If they
is.
do it, they commit a crime, Tyrone.
You're not smart.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
You're not smart. Sarge.
Jesus, you're the biggest fucking blockhead I ever heard in my life.
I don't know.
If they do what you suggest, they are committing a crime.
Yes,
a
they
crime,
are.
Tyrone. A
Yes, they
crime.
are. Yes, they are. We agree on
All
that.
right, so we always know when cops commit crimes. Don't you talk about it all the time?
Yeah, but you
That a
voted
cop commits
for.
a crime. So
You
what else is
voted.
new?
You voted for this fucking lawless goddamn president. So.
I didn't vote for him to commit no crime. Now,
Yes, you
motherfucker,
did.
put that shit in
Yes,
my
you
mouth.
did. Yes,
and
you
he's
did.
not intending to do that either.
Yes,
and if
you
he
did.
does, I will oppose him.
No, you won't. You won't say shit. You come on
You
and kiss his
bullshit.
ass.
Don't you tell me what I'm
He's
thinking.
already
I know
broke
what
the
you're going
motherfucking
down.
law.
I can't post it down on a bunch of hill.
He already broke the law, and you ain't said shit, motherfucker.
Motherfucker, don't you dare tell me that shit. I know what hill I'll die on,
Oh,
and that would be
Jesus.
one of them.
Oh my goodness, my brain hurts.
You can go straight to hell with your bullshit. Just
So
make shit up.
well, I hope you enjoy your 4th of July, Sarge. You know,
You
I
damn
know-
skippy, I will, and I'm going to celebrate the fuck out of it, including the founding fathers, too. That'll piss you off. I hope it does.
did you celebrate Juneteenth?
Not much. I don't like it. I wish they hadn't passed that goddamn bill. They should have made it 13th Amendment Day, December 7th, December 6th, 1865. Should have been the day they should have made a holiday.
Okay, so let
Not
me
that
ask you
goddamn
this.
Juneteenth.
So let me ask you this. You celebrating when America
You
was...
heard my answer, didn't you? I mean what I said. I don't like Juneteenth.
Okay, I heard you. But I'm saying you celebrate when America got its freedom, but why you ain't celebrating when the slaves got their freedom?
Because they didn't get their freedom on Juneteenth. They got it on December 6, 1865, when chattel slavery was formally ended in the United States by amendment.
Everybody wasn't free at that time, sorry.
What did I just say? That's why I say celebrate December 6th, 1865, because it was that date that happened.
What you mean? It wasn't Juneteenth? Are you saying it was after
They
Juneteenth?
passed the 13th Amendment on December 6th, 1865.
Was
that
that after
Juneteenth? That was in June of 1865.
So you're saying in December
of 1865, chattel slavery in all the Union states, including Kentucky, which Lincoln had no power to affect. All of the slaves were freed from chattel slavery.
So are you saying that Juneteenth before December was not the day that all the slaves were freed?
No, because Kentucky was a slave state and a Union state, and Lincoln had no power to alter slavery in the state not in rebellion. His executive order did not affect any of the 4 slave Union states.
So you're
Do you
retarded.
understand that as a matter of constitutional law?
Yeah.
You claim to know so fucking much about it.
Yeah, so you're retarded and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And you're a fool, and you don't know a damn thing about the Constitution or history.
I just wanted to hear your explanation. You
The
don't know
Emancipation Proclamation did not affect slaves in Missouri, Delaware, Maryland, or Kentucky. They were all Union states. They were not affected by the Emancipation Proclamation because none of those states were in rebellion against the Union. He had no authority to alter the 10th Amendment right of a state to have slaves.
Okay, so let's go with your little thought.
It's not my little history, niggas. Ain't mine. It's yours too. If you learn about it.
So if you're saying December
It's not
1865,
my history. It's yours too.
if you were saying December 1865 is when all slaves was free, you're
Chattel slavery. Notice the word I use from chattel slavery. Not if you're convicted of a crime.
So you're admitting that on the 4th of July, 1776, is that when it was? On the 4th of July, then everybody wasn't free then on the 4th of July.
The Constitution didn't exist on July 4th, 1776. The Constitution did not exist. That didn't happen until 1787. Or did that little bit of history pass you up?
Okay, so what I'm saying, like the 4th of July when you're
Everything passes you by, doesn't it?
Okay, why do you not let me get my goddamn question out?
Because you don't know shit. I gotta educate your ass.
You can't educate shit if you don't hear my goddamn question.
You don't seem to realize the Constitution didn't exist on July 4th, 1776, right?
Okay.
The Articles of Confederation didn't exist then.
Okay, so I'm talking about the holiday that you're celebrating. What date are you celebrating?
Which is the birth of the United States without the Constitution. Yes, that one.
Okay, so that's when America got its freedom, right?
No, they had to fight for it. It didn't get the freedom till the Treaty of Paris in 1783.
Okay, so you're celebrating. You're celebrating 1776
You
July.
want to argue with me about every goddamn thing? You don't know a goddamn thing.
Okay, what are you celebrating? I'm just trying to figure out what are you
celebrating? The Declaration of Independence and the 4th of July. One of the most magnificent documents for human liberty.
Which represents what? Okay, you don't need all that. You don't need all that. You don't need all that. Which represents what?
The birth of the United States and the reasons given for separation from the British Empire.
Separation from the British Empire. Freedom from the British Empire. That's what the fuck I've been saying this whole goddamn time. Did you not understand that?
No, I didn't say free. I said separation. There's a difference.
Freedom
There's a
from
difference. I swear, you need education like nobody else. You want to go to college. You must have gone to college.
You know what?
Read the Declaration. It doesn't say anything about freedom. It says about separation from the British. Here are the reasons we are giving to separate from the British Empire. Would you please read the fucking document? It ain't that long.
Oh, Lord.
And it had to do with taxation with no representation. They were tired of paying the mother country. They were tired of paying the mother country for commodities that they had. They didn't want to pay no tax on the tea. We talking about the Revolutionary War, right?
There were 27 reasons given to separate from Britain. Those were some of them.
Okay.
If Tyrone would
It
take the
didn't
time
have
to read
nothing
the
to do with
document,
black
he would
people.
understand what those reasons are.
Okay, it ain't got shit to do with me. It's you and your interpretation. Because instead of me
That's
putting
why I
in
told
words,
you to read it so you don't have to rely on me. You read it, nigga. You read. Don't rely on me. Read it for yourself.
okay, so let
I
me
know
ask
you're
you.
illiterate, but if you need help with understanding the meaning of the words, then you can come back to me.
Okay, so let me ask you this right here. What is another name for the 4th of July?
Independence Day.
What the fuck does independence mean, you moron?
It simply means a state of separateness
Shit,
from
the
something
freedom,
else.
motherfucker. God
It means
damn.
being independent
You a
and separate
fucking
and apart
idiot.
from. It means being apart from
You are a
Tyrone.
idiot.
It doesn't say
You are
what do you
a
think it means
idiot.
then?
You
Hey,
are
I
the
answered you. Now
biggest
you tell me
fucking
what it means.
idiot that I've ever
All right,
fucking
yeah, I know.
seen.
You think I'm stupid. Now
Yes,
you
you
admit
are.
the brilliant one. Why don't
You
you
want to
tell me
sit up
what it
here
means?
and argue against me about the freedom celebration of the United States of America, and it's called Independence motherfucking Day. What the fuck is wrong with you? God damn.
Negro, what do you think it means? I gave you an answer. Now,
I'm
would you
just
please
asking
give
you
me
what the
one?
fuck independence mean. That's
I
it.
gave you an answer. You
Yeah,
want another one? You want me to elaborate
okay,
more?
you know, I'm done with this. I'm done with this.
I know you're done. You're getting your ass beat, nigga. Go get your cut man and fix you up.
Okay, well.
You know, they
go to
talk
your car
about
and get your cuts fixed up.
their independence from their mother country, but at the same
Separateness, of
time, they were here in the U.S. of A. fighting and killing people who were here before they got here. They
Like the
were
French.
still waging war on the U.S. of A. It wasn't a peaceful time at all.
Like the French.
Cause
They
they
kicked the French
savages.
out too.
Cause they
And they
savages.
kicked
And I'm
Spanish
talking
out
about the
too.
indigenous
So it
people
wasn't
who
just
was
the Indians that went to
removed
war with. They
from
were
their
fighting other
land.
Europeans too.
Cause they savages. That's why.
No, because they wanted a country. That's what people do want
Sarge,
a country. How do you
let
think
me-
Mexico? How do you think Mexico got those Western states from Spain?
Sarge,
They
in
fought Spain and got their
2025,
independence in 1821.
in
What, you
2025,
think the United States is the exception?
in 2025, President Trump.
You know, you can't answer my questions. You can never answer my questions because you say, "Oh, he got me. Now I got to go change
No,
the subject."
I'm trying to make a point about them being
How do
savages.
you think Mexico got its independence from Spain?
I'm
By
trying to make a
fighting them,
point.
baby.
I'm trying to make a point about them being savages. In 2025.
Okay, make your point. Let me hear. Let me hear it. How they do with that, buddy boy?
In 2025, President Trump is celebrating a place in Florida called Alligator Alcatraz. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, good.
So
you can be
he's
safe
going
from
to put.
alligators by keeping your ass in the goddamn camp, not trying to escape.
This is my point
That's
about
all you
them
got
being.
to do. Don't
this
try
is-
to escape. Keep your ass in the camp. You'll be safe from the gators.
This is my point
Now,
about
if you're
them.
going to take your ass out the camp and take a risk in the Everglades with the pythons and the gators, God damn it, you get away, more power to your ass. But if you get ill, that's on you. Keep
This is
your
my-
ass in the camp, you won't get hit by the gators.
This is my point about them being savages.
That's my
How in the
point.
fuck? How in the fuck in the modern time are you going to create a fucking goddamn
Like
camp?
I said, keep your ass in the camp. You ain't got to worry about no damn gator.
How you gonna create a camp
Don't
for
try to
human beings who may have a chance to be eaten by fucking alligators? That is the
Submit
most
to
fucking.
voluntary deportation, and they'll let you out.
Okay, you know what? I told you agree
Hey,
with
I
this
guess you
motherfucker.
didn't think about that one. That's something that's just unthinkable.
No,
huh?
I think it. I think
want
it's.
to stay in this racist country anyway. It's a racist country. All they do is abuse people and feed them to alligators. Who the fuck wants to stay in a country like that anyway? I'd be happy to get out this motherfucker if I believe that.
You see this? What I'm saying?
Yeah, you know goddamn well I'm right.
No, you're not, motherfucker. You just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you didn't say that shit, nigga. Well, who the fuck wants to stay in a country where they feed you to alligators? Why they want to stay here? I go to say,
All right,
Mr.
well, look,
Mr.
y'all.
President, I want to get out this motherfucking country that feed me the gators for no reason. Let me go deport me some goddamn where else.
Well, y'all, I gave Sarge an hour of my time that I would never
I
get
gave
back.
you something to think about too. Yeah, you think about it.
I would never.
Some good.
I would never get this time back. I gave him an hour of my damn time. Antoinette, your line is open.
Yeah, your brain is churning, man. You had to use it for a second.
You
being indoctrinated with a bunch of goddamn slogans.
You don't faze me at all. But YouTube, listen.
You're a sloganeer, nigga. All you do is sloganeer
Why
all day. You
the
don't
fuck
think
can I speak? I can't do this. What the fuck?
Well, you don't think worth a bit, goddamn.
Oh, goddamn. Okay, YouTube.
Sloganeer. Racist. Tyrant. They be a king. Blah. Same old shit.
YouTube, I'm getting ready to shut y'all
man,
down.
you need to start trying to think for a change. I swear to God, do you some goddamn good. Stop sloganeering all fucking day.
This can't be real. Okay, YouTube, I'm getting ready to shut y'all down.
Read a history book, will you?
Okay. We'll try this one more time. YouTube, I'm getting ready to shut y'all down. If y'all want to call into the damn conference call and listen to this idiot Trump dick sucking moron, then y'all can. I don't know what the hell to say. So I'm getting ready to shut YouTube down. Y'all can call in to the conference.
Yeah, I know.